validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Sander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. Man, I had to juggle it today. I got to tell y'all, I had to juggle it. We had Donald Trump talking about doing plastic straws again instead of doing the paper straws. Talking about it's cheaper. It is cheaper, but there's going to be more plastic pollution going around. He don't care. The sharks won't die off of plastic straw, according to him. We had a situation where he's talking about putting a dome over the country. We're going to be talking about that coming soon. Like, what is the plan for the nation to come if we're supposed to be putting a dome over the United States? And what kind of dome would we have to put over the United States? How much would it cost? And what would end up happening from that? Because I can think of a few dozen sci-fi movies where the United States was encompassed in a dome. And it was a military scenario where you were only allowed to be authorized in if they weren't going to come and get you with those AK-47s and M4s. So I don't know what to say about that, but they had a lot of stuff going on yesterday. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you guys pop in today. Yesterday, we were talking about some of the cybersecurity companies that we can invest in to improve our cybersecurity and still turn a profit at the same time. I know that talking about stocks and bonds and GDPs and all this other stuff isn't always all that interesting to the average person. But you have to realize is that if you know how much money this company is making year over year, and you know how much their profits are increasing year over year, you understand that out of the profits, the shareholders are being paid. And if you understand how many billions of dollars they have available to pay per to the total quantity of shareholders, depending on the number of shares you have, depends on how much money you get out of that profit margin. So, I talk about a lot of these things. I go into great detail. I think it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours that we spent on the show yesterday going over, I think 5 or 7 companies, I think, that really control the cybersecurity market. And it was an eye opener because that followed our Monday show when we were talking about the data security leaks that happened with the Department of Treasury, where we've had more. We've had another security leak, and we'll get into that in another day. Because today we're supposed to be talking about this hidden gem called Ecuador, and the fact that it can be one of those safe and affordable places to invest. First thing I'm going to tell you about Ecuador is that you can't bring your guns there. They do not allow imports at all. You might be able to communicate with the ambassadors if you are traveling, utilizing your possession of your firearm, because they expect you to have a 38 or less. A 38 is bigger than a 9mm. You may be able to travel with hunting rifles. A 38 is bigger than a 9mm, but whatever reason that you're bringing it for, they're going to have rules and restrictions of bringing it with you, having it on your person. Some countries even require you to go straight to the local law enforcement place and turn in your firearms upon entry, giving you a limited period of time from touchdown till they start looking for you for being in possession of the firearm, because those countries that have more stricter gun rules than the United States does not allow foreign nationals to own and possess and operate firearms in their country. So that's probably the only downside to Ecuador. There are some countries that will allow you to take your Second Amendment with you. So I'm going to be covering those over time. But, I wanted to talk to you guys about those affordable places that really beats out the cost of standard of living in places like America, Canada, and Mexico, so that, we can look at other opportunities and start paying attention to investment options in those areas. Now, if you are a gun-toting American, doesn't want to part ways with your Second Amendment, Ecuador might not be the place to go for long-term living, because while you can own and operate and possess a firearm under certain conditions, you can't import your American-owned firearm to Ecuador under any circumstances outside of potentially military authorization, or if you're a security company or something like that. Probably be the only time that they'd allow it. But that's speculation. I haven't gone into great detail with it, so I'm not going to co-sign on the situation. I'm just saying hypothetically, those might be the only circumstances that they may actually allow you to cross international waters with firearms on or around your person. So beyond that, I wanted to talk to you guys about another place to invest, another place to live. It'll be one of those up and coming scenarios. So I really want to encourage you guys to take a look at that, because as you guys join me looking at Ecuador's hidden gem opportunities for being safe and affordable investment, we're going to see if we can find more opportunities in Ecuador than what meets the eye. That's something that's not on the tourist pamphlets and the tourist brochures. I've told you guys before that we're going to be putting it in our budget to touch down on some of these cities and some of these countries and look at some of the investment opportunities that they have and look at some of the living environments that they have, the upscale, downscale, mid levels, and cost of living and prices and other such, so that we can start seeing, well, if we fly from one place to the next, and how much does it cost to fly around, and I'd be able to show you guys the ups and downs of being able to go where you're going to go. And we just got to figure out, if we're gun-toting Americans, what rules and responsibilities that we have to perform. Because if we get on a plane with it, because it's in our possession at the airport, and it's in our luggage at the airport, how do we safely and legally get off the plane with it, turn it into local government if it is not allowed to be on our person, and then be able to collect it from government when we vacate the country, if we're going to be there for a short-term scenario? Because there is a possibility that you are able to travel with one under the advance notice that that's going to be a thing. And they will instruct you as to what you can do and how you can do it. And if it turns out that you might as well not even get on a plane with it, then you just got to find a safe place to put it in your home so that while you're gone, it's going to be hopefully locked away in a safe space that is still there when you return. But while we're talking about Ecuador, I want to recognize that Ecuador is a small South American country nestled between Colombia and Peru. And Ecuador has emerged as an attractive destination for investors seeking safe and inexpensive options with excellent potential for returns. With its diverse landscape and stable economy and favorable investment climate, Ecuador offers a compelling proposition for those looking to diversify their portfolios and capitalize on emerging market opportunities. Now, Ecuador offers a relatively low cost of living compared to the United States and Canada. The use of the US dollar as its official currency provides greater stability for foreign investors. The cost of living in Ecuador is about 67% less expensive than in the United States. A single person is estimated monthly costs are around $1,088, while a family of four can expect to spend about $2,535 per month. Ecuador's cost of living is about 32.6 as of January of 2025, and compared to Canada, Ecuador is significantly more affordable. Canada is 2.2 times more expensive than Ecuador, with restaurants that cost between 2.8 times higher, and groceries costing twice as much, with transportation at 70.8% more, and housing being 3.2 times more expensive than Ecuador. And that's comparing Canada to Ecuador. With Latin America, Ecuador stands out as one of the most inexpensive places to live. And as of January of 2025, the average cost of living in Ecuador is about 32.6%, where rent is 80.4% lower than the US. So you can find inexpensive meals for around $3.50 and monthly apartment rentals ranging from $278 to $334. Ecuador is one of those countries that often flies under the radar when it comes to investments, opportunities, but trust me, it's a gem that is worth uncovering. With its unique combination of affordability, safety, and growth potential, Ecuador is an attractive destination for investors looking to diversify their portfolio. One of the biggest misconceptions about investing in Ecuador is that it's a risky business. People often think that the country is plagued by security concerns, crime, and instability. Those people have not lived in the United States. But the truth is, Ecuador has made tremendous progress in recent years to improve its safety record. In fact, many expats and investors have reported feeling safer in Ecuador than in their home countries. Ecuador boasts a relatively safe and stable environment compared to other Latin American countries, and the crime rate is low, and the political climate is stable, unlike what we're experiencing right now, providing a secure environment for business and investors. The government has also implemented various measures to attract foreign investors, including tax incentives and streamlined regulations. Another fear that people have is that Ecuador is economically unstable, that it is prone to recessions and economic downturns. But again, the facts tell a different story. Ecuador has a growing economy with a strong focus on diversification and exports. And with its flexible currency, the US dollar, Ecuador has been able to weather economic storms better than many other countries. One of Ecuador's main attractions for investors is its low cost of living compared to other developed countries. The cost of housing, food, and other essentials is significantly lower, allowing investors to stretch their budget further and maximize their returns. This affordability also extends to labor costs, making Ecuador attractive for businesses looking to establish operations in South America. Some people also think that Ecuador is only good for investing in real estate. That is the furthest thing from the truth. It's just that every country in the world has a very massive opening for investors that are looking to get into real estate. Real quick, special shout out to Omni81 and Red Void from Twitch. I see you guys popping in. Special shout out to you guys that are jumping in from Twitter as well. We really appreciate you guys coming. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that follow button from Twitch and Twitter and stuff, wherever you guys are. Now, these people believe that there aren't many opportunities available outside of real estate, but that's also not true. From agriculture to tourism, there are many sectors in Ecuador that are ripe for investment. We're going to be going into a lot of those. And with the government's support for foreign investment, it's easier than ever to get started. Ecuador's economy is diverse and offers a range of investment opportunities across various sectors. So the real estate market is the one that everybody is aware of. And the real estate market is booming in Ecuador, with prices rising steadily in major cities like Quinto and Guayaquil. Investors can find opportunities in residential, commercial, and industrial real estate with the potential for high returns. Property costs in Ecuador are significantly lower compared to other popular expat destinations like Costa Rica or Panama. And with a minimum investment of just $45,000 in real estate, foreign investors can obtain temporary residency. So you're going to own yourself a house for $45,000 and obtain temporary residency. All right. Ecuador's stunning natural beauty and rich cultural heritage make it a popular tourist destination. The tourism sector is growing rapidly, and investors can find opportunities in hotels, restaurants, tour operators, and other related businesses. So getting into tourism is another thing that you can do besides handling real estate. And you see those movies where people fly to another country and start up a hotel, and they're the owner of the hotel. They live there, they work there, they hire a bunch of people there, and they live their best life as the owner of a hotel. If you are like Donald Trump, you can build yourself multiple hotels like those Trump towers. You can incentivize your last name and turn it into a business, and then make a bunch of hotels. Put them into an international trust, and pay yourself dividends off of that. We talked about trust plenty of times on the show, and I recommend that you go back and look at some of those shows. There are also opportunities in infrastructure development, the hotel construction, and ecotourism. So you don't have to run the hotel. You could build the hotel. Contractors have a very high ability to seek employment or contracts when they're not into real estate with the fix and flip, because the people who buy the lands have to pay somebody to develop the lands, and then the people who buy the lands usually pay somebody to sell the lands or rent the lands out. And if they rent the lands out, sometimes they pay people to manage the property and collect the rent. There are 3 different areas there that you can utilize that doesn't require you to specifically be in the buying and selling aspects of real estate. Being a broker allows you to be able to negotiate deals where you can make sure that the contractee pays the contractor, and the contractor pays the contractee. Figure it out. But Ecuador's fertile lands and favorable climate make it ideal for agriculture. So the agricultural sector is a significant contributor to the economy, and investors can find opportunities like in the crops like bananas, coffee, cocoa beans, where, if you get cocoa was in Coca-Cola until they took it out. Cocoa can be reduced to a white powdery substance and vacuum sealed and then shipped across the if you know what I'm saying. The country also has significant potential in mining. So copper, gold, and silver gives you something other than agricultural things like bananas, flowers, and shrimps to invest in. Because if you're mining gold, or if you're paying miners to mine gold, and you keep the gold that you mine, you have the highest value of currency than most people. Well, profits versus expenses to get it out of the dirt. Ecuador has an abundant renewable energy resource. That's yet again another thing that you can invest in outside of real estate, including hydroelectric, solar, and wind power. The government is committed to developing the renewable energy sector, and investors can find potential opportunities in power generation, transmission, and distribution as well. Ecuador has an abundant renewable energy resource, including hydroelectric, solar, wind, and geothermal, offering attractive investment opportunities where the government is aiming to generate a 90% return from country's electric renewable sources by 2050. 90% return. All I'm saying is, dollar for dollar, that's where sticking my money over there. Because 90% is 190%. You put up $100, you get back 190. You put up $100, they pay you a $90 dividend. That's 90%. Ecuador's economy is projected to grow at an average rate of 2.8% over the next, actually by the end of this year, because from 2021 to 2025, it's projected to have a 2.8% growth. We're already in 2025. So by the end of this year, it would have gained 2.8% since 2021, which is a 4-year time span. The government is actively promoting large infrastructure projects as public-private partnerships, including oil refinery, refurbishment, renewable energy projects, and airport and road improvements, manifest and are expedited in the country. So not only are you developing roads and airports and energy services, you're also doing oil refineries, and refurbishments means that you're repairing them as well as making them. So there's plenty of areas where you can make extra money there. The Ecuadorian government has adopted a pro-business, pro-trade agenda and is working to reform protectionist economic policies, where recent updates to investment laws include the creation of the simplified foreign investment regime in 2019, simplify the process of registering foreign investments and obtaining incentives. The Ecuadorian government has implemented various measures of attracting the foreigners with their tax incentives, where the government offers foreign investors exemptions and reductions on corporate tax income, value added tax, and other taxes. The government has streamlined regulations for foreign investors, making it easier to establish and operate businesses in Ecuador. So, Ecuador has signed several bilateral investment treaties that provide protection to foreign investors, including guarantees against expropriation and unfair treatment. Look, y'all, they gonna have me looking up words like expropriation. Because I know Mosey are like, what the fuck is expropriation? This is what we're talking about right now. We're talking about like the ways that you learn something on this show. We're gonna have to add that to our vocabulary. Expropriation. Now, foreign individuals can qualify for special tax regimes where they only pay income tax on Ecuador sourced income for up to 5 years. To be eligible, one must either invest at least 150,000 in real estate or productive activities in Ecuador for a minimum of 5 years, or prove a monthly income of at least 2,500 a month from non-Ecuadorian sources and enroll in Ecuador's social security system. And that is so that you can get a special tax where you're not paying taxes on non-Ecuadorian sourced income. Now, the $2,500 income that you're proving is from non-Ecuadorian sources, and you also have to be on the Ecuadorian social security system. Ecuador allows a foreign tax credit equal to the tax paid abroad on foreign income up to the amount corresponding to the tax attributable to such income in Ecuador, meaning that if you're taxed in the US, they're not going to tax you on that same taxed money in Ecuador. Wow. But if Ecuador know that you spending money, Ecuador is going to tax your ass on it. However, if you have income coming from overseas, it is not an obligation for you to be involved in their social security system. And it is not an obligation for you to file for taxes under their supervision. But in order for you to not be taxed or have any type of legal issues with any investments that you make in Ecuador, you have to make sure that you follow the tax laws that they've got going on in Ecuador. it's a very interesting scenario to look at. And I personally would look into that even deeper if I was going to be trying to relocate to Ecuador and try to start up a business, or try to reach out and invest in big business over there, or just be over there for a long period of time where I would be claiming incomes. Now, foreign individuals can qualify for the special tax regime where they only pay income tax on that source of income through the 5-year time period, as we explained before. Allowing for those tax credits equal to the abroad income status, where new investments in renewable energy projects, including natural gas and green hydrogen, are exempt from that income taxes for 10 years. That was the part that I wanted to get to. See, I lost my place because I'm over here getting a bunch of messages from some of my other clients. I love the way people blow me up first and then say, hi, tell me what you want. I'm in the middle of a live show and you're going to message me on a contract with some hi. What is your major malfunction? Express that to me, because I'm not going to stop my life so that I can tell you hi back. I don't really care. You're either going to pay me or you're not. And if you're not, I don't got time. Now, if you're paying me, I'll pause. But if you're not going to pay me, life is a business. Now, new tourism investments of at least $100,000 are exempt from income taxes for 7 years, with 10% allocated to rural tourism, which means if you are going to invest in tourist attractions outside of major city tourist attractions, which allows individuals to relocate to better places, then you will receive tax exemptions up to 5 years. Or no, sorry, 7 years. They have a 0% income tax rate for the first 5 years for qualified users, followed by a 15% rate thereafter. Exemption. And isn't that the same 15% that Donald Trump was talking about doing to the poor folk that make under $168,000? 15% for the poor folk, 30% for the rich folk. Exemptions from VAT, remittance tax, and foreign trade taxes within free trade zones is another thing that they're going to be doing, and legal stability and income tax exemption for public to private partnership projects with contracts that can last up to 30 years with a possible 10-year extension. That is 40 years that you would be ending up with that exemption under certain conditions. You're just making profits over expenses. The Costa Para Todos program initiatives aim to expand access to new housing and improve existing housing quality for poor and vulnerable Ecuadorian families, which is one of the reasons why real estate is such a big thing, because Inter-America Development Bank loan created a $106.1 million loan that was approved to strengthen housing solutions for poor and vulnerable populations, which means out of that $106 million at between $45,000 and $200,000 a house, you should be able to make a few 100,000 houses under that $1 million loan, $106 million loan, to be able to create more housing opportunities. Now, for those individuals that are not greedy, if you create an affordable living scenario, you are able to overturn the housing market, because instead of you asking for too much, you're asking for just enough to turn yourself a profit over the expenses of maintaining a property. Now, if you are the kind of individual that keeps your property in good condition, you get good tenants, they don't tear up your place, they can stay there as long as they want, you don't have to worry about raising the rent. Then when they move out, you jack the rent up when you move a new tenant in. Makes sense, but it keeps you with consistent income and offsets the expectations of inflation, because you notice that here in America, just about every 6 months, if not every year, landlords going up on the rent. Just about every 6 months or every year, landlords terminating contracts for the rent so that they can put somebody else new on the property so that they can make more money somewhere else. That negatively impacts the financial stability and stable housing of at-risk families. So, since this is supposed to strengthen solutions in poor and vulnerable populations, these incentives will make Ecuador an attractive destination for foreign nationals looking to invest or reside in the country, offering a combination of tax benefits, investments, opportunities, and legal protections. So then there are those two who believe that Ecuador is only for small time investors, that you need to be a big player or work with a big player to make this situation work. That's also not the case, because whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, Ecuador has opportunities available for everyone. When it comes to investing in Ecuador, one sector that really caught my attention is the real estate sector. And that's because I keep telling everybody about going into real estate all over the world. Being able to create an international real estate business, you would be able to write off the taxes in US profits based on the expenses in offshore countries. For example, you're making $500,000 a year worth of profits in the US, and you spend $250,000 in Japan building up a real estate business. That $250,000 that's being done in Japan is tax deductible in the United States. You can make up to $120,000 a year in Japan on top of the $500,000 a year that you're making in the US, and not get taxed on that $120,000 because you're spending money more than you're making money. The utilizing debt as a profit, because instead of giving a $250,000 to the United States government, you spend $250,000 in Japan or Ecuador building up real estate. That's one of the reasons why I was telling you guys that real estate is an attractive thing to do all over the world in the seemingly worst conditions. Because even the most unfavorable expectations of the Philippines, where you have to have a local as a 60% owner of the business, if you're going to the Philippines and you're getting you a Philippine wife and you want to make her the manager of the Filipino branch, she's more loyal than an American woman. She'll be able to run your business without running it into the ground, because the money that she's going to make off of running your business is going to be able to take care of her and her whole family. She ain't going to cause no troubles. Because why knock you off and cheat you out of a few $100s here and there when she can help you build up the kind of business that pays for her family, her sister's family, her brother's family, her mama, her grandfather, all it. You see what I'm saying? Like, man, the whole nation, I'm going to be a superstar because the whole neighborhood is being taken care of because of the money I make from this company. So that they have no problem with running the business. And any expenses under the profit is the cost of doing business. You got to look at that. But with prices still relatively low in Ecuador, it's an incredible time to buy up properties, whether it's for rental income or long-term appreciation. With countries growing expat communities, there's a high demand for quality houses, because Americans are not going to live in the low income lifestyle that the local Ecuadorians will live. Americans are going to want to live the high life, especially if they live the low income lifestyle in America. They're going to want to live the high income lifestyle in another country. And since Ecuador is 68% cheaper than America, that means that if you are part of the bottom 60%, you are going to finally be able to live that upper middle class lifestyle, because like they said, it would be like $25 or $2,800 a month for a family of 4. So you are a party of 1 and you're living a $2,000 a month lifestyle in Ecuador, then you're living an upper middle class lifestyle as a single man, which is a low income lifestyle in America. Think about that. So you level up by going to another country. Now, another sector that's worth exploring inside of the agriculture was Ecuador having home to some of the most fertile soils in the world, and the climate making it ideal for growing all sorts of other goods and services. I need to go and look at some of the other things that they have besides coffee and cocoa and bananas and shrimp. And, but overall, the government's support for sustainable farming practices is going to be something that's going to be supported in the agricultural atmosphere. So you can feel good about your investments in agriculture because you can go to Ecuador and be a farmer. You can go to Ecuador and create you a plantation and put you a plantation house in the back and have your workers live on the property, and they wake up in the morning and go out there and till the fields and come on back at lunchtime and get them a big old meal and get back out there and work till the sun set and never get a day off. Sounds like 1938. I'm just saying you can make it happen in Ecuador. The only difference is in modern times, it is inappropriate to walk around with a whip. Now, when we started talking about that tourism, which is really starting to expand in Ecuador, we understand that the beauty and rich culture and friendly people there, which is not necessarily the same way we experience America, the country has an attracting atmosphere for visitors from all over the world. And with the right investment, you can capitalize on this trend and make a significantly tidy profit, especially if you're working on that hotel. You work on that hotel and you can be on that fantasy island situation where you're out there making women's dreams come true with the plethora of one night stands. Catch them on their way out so that they can't stalk you tomorrow. But it was brought to my attention a story about an investor who took a plunge into investing in Ecuador. John was his name. He always been fascinated by the country's potential, so he decided to take a trip down there and explore it. He found out that there was an incredible opportunity to invest in the sustainable agriculture projects that I was telling you guys about. And with the help of local partners, John was able to turn the project into a huge success, generating a steady income and making a real difference in the local community. John's story is one of many examples of success stories that are out there. And by doing his research and taking calculated risks and being open to new opportunities, John was able to thrive in Ecuador. And I believe that you can do the same. So I know that on the forefront that you're never going to be a self-made man. That's going to be the truth. However, I also know that one of the things we have to recognize is that if you go down to another country and you talk to the locals know the ins and outs of the country that's not written in the newspapers, that's not posted online, that's not written in local magazines, where they can tell you where to go, what to do, and who to talk to accomplish your goals. You can find a partner in life, where a husband or a wife that can support your success attempts, but you can also find a platonic business partner that you can invest in, where he or she can provide you with the necessary financial backings to put you into a more profitable atmosphere where you're not only making money, you're not having to work as hard to make that money, which is actually more beneficial to the average person who's trying to start up a business in another country than the individual that wants to do it all themselves. One of the things that the reason why I talk about that Japanese incentive of giving $23,000 to start up a business in Japan, in Nagano, Japan, as long as you hire at least 2 locals, is because the incentive requires you to create a business structure where you have 2 people work for you. I understand that it sounds like I'm saying it twice, but think about the fact that, let's say you start up a business, a restaurant. If you've got a restaurant, that means you've got at least 1 person in the kitchen cooking and 1 person in the front serving. If you look at the Japanese culture, they have those little bitty single burners with like the tools and ingredients where basically the customers cook for themselves, which means that you have one server and one dishwasher and prep cook who cuts up all the food and put everything up there, get all the food together, and then the one server brings the food to the tables, brings the drinks to the tables, cash everybody out. You got 2 employees running the whole business. What would you be doing if these 2 people are running the whole show? They're going to be keeping track of the inventory. You're going to be paying them appropriately to cover their standard of living, which means their work ethic and loyal and honorable culture is going to have them not try to cheat you out of your business, which means that they're getting paid even if the business doesn't make money. They're going to be psychologically and emotionally dedicated to making sure that you succeed. And if the government is giving you $23,000 to do that, you got to understand that the standard of living is $8,500, $9,000 a year. $18,000 would be 1 year's income for 2 people, or 2 years' income for 1 person. So if you've got 12 months to make this business successful, you open them doors and you're paying the people to come to work with no customers until customers start coming in. They're going to start making customers come in because they're going to be grateful that you gave them an opportunity to work, which means that they will work hard for you. And if you show them the respect of being loyal customers, loyal employees, and pay them even when times are tough, they're going to make sure that you're successful, which means that they're going to be the ones that you promote to management material. They're going to hire new people when the business starts getting too much, where the senior people are going to be paying the rookie people to get in there and do the work. And now you've got a standalone business. And the fact is that type of incentive in Japan is not limited to one business. So if you want to just create a bunch of restaurants, you can do that. You can create a bunch of restaurants. You can also be in real estate, create an apartment complex, rent the apartment complex out to your restaurant employees, where your restaurant employees have a place to go that hopefully is remotely close to the restaurants that you built, or they at least can take a bicycle to work. And now they're working for you and paying you rent. You make the rent remotely cheap in comparison to the average market, but you're still getting money back off of the employee. You're turning a profit on both sides. They're going to be grateful that you put a roof over their head, and they're going to be grateful that you're giving them an opportunity to work. They're going to take good care of your real estate property. They're going to take good care of your restaurant. You're turning a profit in more than one spot. And the government's going to give you $23,000 each time you make that happen. All I'm saying is that we got to start looking at some of these other countries, because I told you guys how awesome Romania was. I told you how awesome Brazil is, how awesome Dubai is. We've talked about the Philippines a few times, Japan, Canada, Mexico. Now we're talking about Ecuador. Somebody came onto the podcast one night and started talking about Cambodia. There are a lot of places that we can go where we can put our money in a lot more places than just our individual country's market, and we can start make money for ourselves all over the world. I was just on the phone with some family members earlier today talking about how you could just take $5 or $10 out of each one of your paychecks and put it aside. And as you build up that money and don't need it, you can take some of that money and invest it in the stocks and bonds that are generating revenue. And then you can use the dividends from that revenue and pay small bills. And the profits, the money that you're getting from your paycheck that you're not spending on those bills, can go to the principal of that stock option. So you pay your bills with the dividends first, then wherever your dividends run out, you pay the rest of your bills. But you take the change that you're not putting on bills and throw it back into your dividends, or throw it back into your principal, and then keep that cycle going. The higher your principal gets, the more money you get back. The more money you get back, the more bills you can pay. The more bills that you pay, the more extra money that you have, the more extra money you put back into your stock option. Eventually, you're going to make enough money to cover your entire standard of living from the profits of your investments, where you're only working because you want to, not because you have to. Eventually, you'll be in a position where you can quit working and just live off of the investments. Eventually, you can put yourself in a position where you're only living off of a percentage of the dividends that are coming to you, where the rest of the percentage of dividends that's coming to you can be reinvested to increase the quantity of dividends that you're getting. And when you're making 3 or 4 times the regular standard of living that you would like to live, then you can elevate yourself one level up. So when you go from living 30% of your income, and if you want to level up and start living at 40 or 50% of your income, you can do that and still have 50% of your income being reinvested back into the market, which allows you to double your returns, where you would end up back at 30% of your income is your standard of living. Successful business is 30% or less of debt, which means that a successful person's standard of living and a successful person's debt to income is 30% or less. So out of $100,000, you need $30,000 worth of bills. If you got $50,000, you're probably going to need $150,000 income. So some of those gold diggers make sense when they start talking about they want $100,000 man. But if one person's making $75,000 and the other person's making $50,000, y'all got $125,000 between the two of y'all. And if one of y'all is putting $50,000 into stocks, bonds, and real estate instead of just spending it on hair, nails, and entertainment, then y'all would have a standard of living that y'all could be satisfied with. Because if you're putting, I've found 4 or 5 different REITs that pay every month. I've been telling y'all about it all week. Actually, I've been telling y'all about it for 2 months now. I just gave y'all the return rates last week, and they're paying out between 12 and 45 cents a share, where the shares are less than $10 a share, where y'all would be able to put down $100 and get 10 shares or more and be able to get back $5-10 a month off of that $100 every month, where y'all would be able to, you're putting away $40,000 a year that you're not spending on the household, since the husband is spending all the money on the household. You will be able to put $40,000 a year away, where 20% return on $10,000 would be $2,000. So $40,000 invested into stocks, bonds, and real estate instead of bullshit and entertainment would be giving you $8,000 a year return. Yeah, you say $8,000 isn't a lot of money because you have a $50,000 or $70,000 a year lifestyle. But if you're putting that $8,000 back in there with the other $40,000, your $48,000 will add on to the next year's $40,000 plus the $8,000 return, and you're at $100,000 in 2 years. You're at $300,000 in 3 years. You're at $900,000 in 4 years. You're at $1.6 million inside of 5 years. You date one guy for 5 years and take all the money you don't put into the house and you put it into the stocks, bonds, real estate, and other investment opportunities I've been telling you about on this show, and y'all would be millionaires inside of 5 years. Y'all wouldn't want to break up. Y'all wouldn't want to get a divorce. Y'all wouldn't want to have to split that money between the two of y'all. Y'all would be like, fuck that. Let's find a way to make more money. Shit. Because when you're getting 20% of $1.25 million as dividend returns, you're making a couple $100,000 a year, where you start getting $5,000 and $10,000 deposits into your bank account from your investment portfolio, which means both of you could quit your jobs. And then y'all could do the traveling around the world. Y'all could do the cross-country tours. Y'all could do the vacations and everything like that, and be doing it under the 75% of the $200,000 deposits that are being given to you on an annual basis, which means that you could have that unrealistic lifestyle that you put on the low-income man. You could have that lifestyle if you dedicated yourself to building up your partner, so that your partner can build you up, so that your relationship builds itself up. These are the things that we talk about on this podcast on a regular basis, so that y'all can make y'all relationship successful. A successful relationship gives the woman a successful lifestyle, instead of just having your hand out and expecting to be given because you're cute. Because again, I put that demand on the table for the ladies that are watching the podcast. You know, hey, we've only had one woman in the past 14 months jump onto the podcast and name at least one thing she do that a man needs, that a man can value. And then I've only had one woman do it out of well over 22,000 people that subscribe to this channel, few 100,000 people at a time that watch this channel, and only one woman came to the show and expressed her value. I was shocked. I was shocked. She says she's going to be coming back to the show later this week because we were up here 5 hours on a podcast discussing this stuff. So what have we learned today, guys? Ecuador is one of those hidden gems that is safe, affordable, and ready and able to be invested in, with a unique combination of advantages that makes it an attractive destination. By understanding the myths and misconceptions surrounding the country and exploring the many opportunities available, you can make informed investment decisions that pay off big time. Ecuador presents a compelling case for investors seeking safe, inexpensive, and high potential investment opportunities. With its stable economy, favorable investment climate, and diverse range of sectors, Ecuador offers a promising destination for those looking to diversify their portfolios and capitalize on emerging market opportunities. As with any investment, it is crucial to conduct thorough research and due diligence before investing in Ecuador. However, for those willing to take the plunge, Ecuador may offer a rewarding and lucrative investment destination. I'd like to appreciate you guys for coming and watching the show tonight. Make sure that you guys don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share your thoughts and comments in the show. If you guys know of a place that you've been or know of a place that you've heard of from a friend or a family member that has gone somewhere else and find a better way to go or a better way to invest, or just an overall improved lifestyle in comparison to what you're used to, by all means, throw that stuff into the comment section. I might be able to do some research on that country if I haven't touched on it already, and we can talk about it on the show. If you guys like this video, be sure to check out because we have Thursday through Sunday, we're going to be talking about social interactions. We're going to be talking about self-improvement. We're going to be talking about relationship improvements, and that's going to be throughout the week. Then on Sunday, we have our members only show that is open to the public right now, where we will be able to do reactions to questions and comments from the fans, where some of the comments that came across the show last Sunday led us into one of the longest shows that we've had, where we had a debate. We had a 10-on-10 debate just about, where the guys and the girls were going at it in the comments, and I was trying to rationalize everybody's logic and reason, and it was fantastic. I appreciate everybody's opinions, even if I didn't agree with some of them. I appreciate your opinions, and everybody's opinion came from somewhere. They had a background or a history that led them to think and believe the way they thought and they believe, and I simply expected them. Look, there go Joseph, just as I said. Those individuals that pop in from way back when. I told y'all we be up here holding it down and making it work. So, Joe, I don't know how long you've been here, Joe. We were talking about Ecuador today. We were talking about some of the good places to go to live and invest. And we were talking about the standard of living in Ecuador, where you can rent an apartment for under $300 a month in Ecuador. Shoo, I don't know where you're at right now, bro, but I'm in America, and $300, that's the light bill. Especially if you got central air and heat in the summertime. They talk about three. Oh, you just got here, man. Look, okay, so yeah, I was telling y'all that I normally start a tad bit. I started an hour ago because I be trying to start at 10 o'clock. I don't always get a chance to start at 10 o'clock because I got to piece together all of the information. And I usually kind of get us rolling at like 10:30, 10:45, even though the show says 10 o'clock is when it's supposed to air. I usually get it going at about 10:30, 10:45. But we've been up here for about an hour now. And I was going over all of the opportunities because they have incentives in Ecuador for us to invest in agriculture, um, the banana trees, the cocoa beans, the um, all of the other stuff that they got going on over there, gold mining, silver, and stuff like that. Investing in some of their stocks and green energy that they have out there. It's actually safer than what people think it is. And they also have green energy opportunities, wind turbines. What else did they have? They had hydroelectric energy and hybrid energy sources that you could invest in. They had 5 and 10 year tax exemptions on foreign nationals that go there, non-taxed, non-Ecuadorian income, especially if you go over there and get on their social security system. They have non-taxed income for non-Ecuadorian income that is declared, that is being taxed from another country. So they got all this stuff going on over there where you can not get double taxed if you're making money from the US and living in Ecuador. But also you have to understand is that if you're living in Ecuador off of money that is being made from somewhere else, Ecuador doesn't have to tax you because they don't have to know that it exists. You just got direct deposits happening to your bank account and you just living. You understand? You can just buy what you got to buy. They have a very diverse culture out there where they're able to share their experiences with one another and learn and grow from each other. And then that gives you the ability as a foreign national to find ways to invest in their economy. Where, for example, they had like roadways, airports, hotels, and other incentives where they would give you private to public partnerships where you could have a 40-year contract with a development program out there where you don't have to worry about paying taxes on any of the money that you make off that development if you're trying to build in low-income areas, or if you're trying to build in rural areas, tourist attractions that'll redirect tourists to low-income areas to increase revenue in low-income areas. And they also had incentives for building hotels and other such amenities that would aid with the ability to bring tourists over there. I was talking about the Treasure Island. I don't know if you remember that, or Dream Island, Fantasy Island. That's what it was called way back in the day. I was a young buck when Fantasy Island came out with the little midget guy that they would, take people out there to the island and they would have their dream vacation over there. And it was always a different experience. And I was like, yeah, if you own the hotel, you're the manager of the hotel, you can go and scoop some of the females up on their way out before they catch their flight and have you a plethora of one night stands. And let them fly back to the country that they came from. But then I was talking about other countries like Japan, because I was explaining earlier that while real estate is booming all over the world. Yeah, I know, right? I was talking about how real estate is booming all over the world because people think that places like Ecuador is only good for its real estate. They only talk about the real estate because every country in the world has some kind of incentive for real estate. If you're building property in places where nobody local wants to build property, the government will aid you in that, whether they don't tax you or they give you a subsidy of some sort for doing it after you've completed the project. Because the only way that they can get it done is if they give somebody a cash incentive or a reduction incentive on getting it done. So I was talking about places like the Philippines where, you can get you a woman for $500 a month out there, where it costs you $500 a night out here taking women out on dates. And the fact is that while understandably in real estate, a local has to have 60% ownership of the business, you get you a Filipino girlfriend, make her 60% ownership of the business, and show her how that business is going to pay for her entire family. And you got you a real estate empire over there. You ain't got to do nothing but make sure that they don't overbuy on the real estate. You make sure that they be just as cheap, because it's their money that they're spending that you're gonna co-sign on, and they'll make sure that they pick all them properties up for little or nothing, and they'll make sure that they renovate them out and rent them out and put a bunch of people in them, and the whole neighborhood is on the payroll. And the fact is that you could start up a business like that in the Philippines and then go somewhere else. You got money making money for you, and you come back and meet your wife and make sure that everything's is running smooth. I was talking about how in Japan, there are incentives that they have where they give you $23,000 in Nagano if you start up a business. And the only incentive requirement that you have is that you hire 2 locals to run the business. I thought that was a fantastic incentive. And one of the reasons why I keep talking about it is because if you start this business up, you have to hire 2 people to run it for you. I know it sounds like saying the same thing twice, but they're going to give you $23 in a country where it costs $8,500 a year to live, so that you can pay 2 people to run the business. If you open up a restaurant, like I was talking about earlier, and you have a server in the front and a kitchen person in the back, you got one person running the register, you got one person prepping the food and doing the cleanup, and between the 2 of them, the whole business is taken care of. You ain't got to do nothing but turn the lights on and unlock the doors, and come through every now and again and check the inventory, order some stuff, and walk back out. Let them handle the whole scenario, and the whole business runs itself. And with $8,500 a year, if you think about the fact that if you're paying them $9,000 a year to do what they got to do with the business, you're literally going to pay them for 12 months to run the business, to make the business successful, so that you don't have to worry about their salary. And if they're working for you when the business isn't making profit, they're going to feel indebted to you to make sure that they can find a way to bring money to your business, because for a whole year they work for you and they wasn't really getting much. So they'll make sure that they try to bring money into your business. They'll tell their family, they'll tell their friends, they'll tell, whoever. And then if you're opening up all of these businesses and you're getting all of these incentives, restaurants wise, you could turn around and open up a real estate property over there, a rental apartment, and then rent the unit to your workers, where the workers are getting paid by the hour to work in a restaurant, and then they're going to pay you rent to live on your land, where you're getting back some of the money that you gave them. Where buying properties in Japan, the value of the property depreciates over time and never increases. And the fact is, you can get a 30-year-old property for $0 and pay $50 taxes on the land, and you got the land. Depending on the condition of the land, you might have to put a little bit of money into renovating the property. But that's when I was talking about how if you have an international real estate business, the money that you're spending in Japan to build a property can be deducted from the profits you make in America if you're going to claim that money. And then US isn't going to tax you for $120,000 worth of money you make in Japan. So if you have 2 restaurants and an apartment complex, you can have your tenants live on your property, and you're going to make a ton of money between the 3 buildings. And as long as you're making less than $120,000 per business, US isn't going to charge you. You're good to go. And then the debt for building all of that versus the profits that you made in the US, you're going to be paying less taxes in the US on US profits. Joseph says, my father-in-law travels to Mexico and South America looking for real estate. He's currently in Thailand on vacation, but I'm sure he's going to come back talking about property he likes. But the reason why he does that is because if you spend, I do believe, 20 hours out of the week doing work, it's a work trip. So every time he goes to and that's one of the reasons why the top 1% is in real estate, because if you fly to Mexico, it's a business trip. It's a vacation, but it's a business trip. All it takes is for you to be looking at real estate property as you wander around, enjoying the pleasures of life. And if in the event that you find the ability to close a deal, you write off the expenses of the trip on the business profits. He's flying to Thailand, and likewise, same thing. You find some developments that is feasible. You start getting everything set up. By the time you close the deal, your entire vacation to Thailand is written off. You only got to really work 4 hours a day, 5 days out of the week to call that a business trip. And if you're working 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're still calling it a business trip. So the fact is that it's not, we spent more time hanging out on a podcast this weekend than what most people do working on business, and they call that a business trip and write it off on their taxes. So you get to travel the world off the profits of your business, live the life that you want to live at your own discretion, and make money for you as you travel. That's why this last 6 months, I have been talking about digital nomad capabilities, real estate capabilities, international travel capabilities with international investment capabilities with foreign national residency, because you're going to go there and live there for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. Then you're going to go somewhere else. You might come back home, but you might leave from Thailand and go to Tibet. You might leave from Tibet and go to Venezuela. You might leave from Venezuela and go to Portugal. You might not come back to America for 8 years, but you might go to 30 different countries in that 8 years. But as you travel, if you're picking up real estate along the way or trying to pick up real estate along the way, it's business trips. As long as your business is making enough money to cover the cost of travel, you can write all that stuff off. See, now this is a smart man. He owns one of the biggest insurance books of business in my area. Wow. And that's exactly what he's doing. He tells us as long as we talk about business while on a trip, it is a write-off. And I work for him. Hey, look, the best part about a family business is if we're sitting at okay, go to a 5-star restaurant. While you're waiting to order your food, you talk about the deal you couldn't close. He's going to give you advice on trying to close it. He's talking about a potential opportunity coming up next week, and you're going to ask him if you can join him on that meeting. Your other brother might talk about potentially finding an investor in the business or hiring an apprentice that wants to intern with the business. Y'all are having a business lunch. Do you really most people don't understand the reason why big business signs contracts and close deals over breakfast, lunch, and dinner is because it's a tax write-off. The business pays for it if you're eating while working. So if you are working while having fun, your fun is a business expense. Entertaining the guests is a business expense. You see in the movies where they take the big investor out on a night on the town and they're in strip clubs and dinner dances and everything to that effect. And somewhere 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, they're shoving a contract in that guy's face, because if he signs that contract, this whole night is written off. Everything that happened is written off if he signs that contract before he goes home. That's why he's like, look, I don't care if he's drunk. If you sign it before, throw up on it. I don't care if you sign it. The whole night is paid for. And I tell people this all the time, but the only way that is going to be a plausible thing is if your business is making money outside of that, then it's able to be done, because the money's not coming out of thin air. I know a lot of people who are low-income individuals are like, oh, how do I get X, Y, and Z and A, B, and C under my business name where I don't have to pay for nothing? Well, your business has got to be making money, because somebody's going to pay for it. Either your business entity will pay for it or you're going to pay for it. You know, it's just shoot. My homeboy was dealing with Joe Mastrano earlier today and saved $30,000 on his taxes. And I was telling people a long time ago, I'm like, look, if y'all want to get some insight about what's going on, y'all should be able to talk to my homeboy, because he was on the show telling everybody about how there are ways to improve your taxation and everything like that, if you're claiming the right stuff on your taxes and doing the right things and investing in the right stuff. Because a lot of the times, which is what we have CPAs for, is that if in the event that that your purchase is tax deductible, you might make a lot more tax deductible purchases instead of making non-tax deductible purchases. If you know what's tax deductible, if you know that your business is going to be able to write that off, you might, the decision making process might be that, well, if I can't write that off, I'm not buying that. So you're not going to get a Prius if that Prius isn't tax deductible. The people that come to the show and try to make it seem like this podcast doesn't know anything about what it's talking about, I'm like, bro, shoot. If you was here, bro, Joe, if you were here yesterday, man. So 2 days ago, we were talking about Elon Musk messing with the U.S. Treasury. 2 days ago, we were talking about how the personal files of the people is in the hands of a non-government official. And I was telling everybody who's filing their taxes, they're doing direct deposit. So they're putting their bank account on their tax return. And that is the financial information that they're complaining about that's in the possession of the U.S. Treasury that Elon Musk is able to handle right now. I've been telling everybody about getting a bank, getting multiple banks. You can have, there's over 8,000, almost 9,000 financial institutions in the United States, and half of them are credit unions and the other half of them are banks. And I've been telling everybody that if you get at least one in every state, but if you get half of the institutions you bank with are banks and the other half are credit unions, you've got the checking accounts that's giving you up to $500. They're giving you between 5 and 7% interest on your checking account. It's not a lot of money, but broke folks don't got that kind of money to be putting $250,000 across 100 bank accounts. But if you did, you'd get 50 credit unions and 50 bank accounts, which means that you have the perks and benefits of low interest rates from your credit unions and other financial benefits like credit cards and loans from your banks, just because you're a member. The other thing that I was telling them was that if you have, because with the issue with the Treasury was data security. Well, if you have a bank for direct deposit, so your money coming in goes into one account, the spending money comes out of another bank account, so they're not the same bank account. You have in-person spending, that's one bank account. Online spending, that's another bank account. Travel spending, that's a third bank account. So that's 4 bank accounts right there. You have an incoming business bank account, an outgoing business bank account, and that now you're at like 7. And then I said, look, if you're doing incoming and outgoing with your refunds versus taxes paid to the U.S. government, and that's a whole nother bank account, that's like 8 bank accounts right there, just to make sure that all your money is separate. And if somebody runs off with the information that is in the Treasury, what are they going to take? It's an empty bank account that only gets access once every 12 months. That has no fees and services on it, but whenever they give you a refund, they deposit it to that account. Whenever you have to pay IRS, they withdraw it from that account. That's all that account is used for. The money that your W-2 paycheck goes into is a completely separate account, probably a completely different bank. I tell people, get at least one bank in all 50 states, because the bank in the South is not in the North. East Coast banks are not in Central banks are not in the West Coast banks are not in Central or on the East Coast. So if you fly from Florida to California, you got to fly back to Florida to go to the bank. If you fly from Washington State to Maine, you got to fly back to Washington State to go to the bank, unless you call them on the phone. And not a lot of stuff can you do on the phone when you're dealing with identity theft and fraud. You have to go back to the branch. They're going to freeze your assets. That was another reason why I told everybody, have multiple banks. Because the only time you personally are going to have your assets frozen willingly is when a transaction you did not authorize occurs. You shut down that account's activity, but your incoming money is not affected by that. You can redirect that somewhere else and have outgoing money somewhere else. I told them about getting a Clio card where you can link all your accounts together, move all the money to the Clio card, and then charge it to the Clio card. Clio reports it to the 3 major credit agencies, which allows you to build your credit up, as well as have an alternative source for spending. You got to be careful with Clio, though, because you got to prove that something went wrong with Clio, because they'll just let your money disappear. But fact is that if you're making and I also said have an extra account for automatic bill pay, where you put a chunk of change in that account, just leave it there, and then just keep forwarding money to that account so that when automatic bill pay happens, it just happens off of that account. So nothing else messes with your automatic bill pay, because all the money that goes into that automatic bill pay account covers 100% of the bills on that automatic bill pay account. If you're able to do that, then you're able to keep all your money in the right spot. Joseph says he's got 2 credit unions and 1 FDIC bank. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 3 credit unions and 5 FDIC accounts and 1 business checking and savings account. I had 2, but I had to shut down 1. So I don't just talk about it, I be about it. He said, well, he also has your social security number and date of birth, so he can also open bank accounts for you. Well, you got to understand that your social security number up until recently was mandatorily required to do any kind of transaction. I remember in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, your social security number was just as effective as a photo identification card. It's public record. So, like, we call it personal information, but you give your social security number to the police, you give your social security number to the hospital, you give your social security number to your job, you give your social security number to your child's school. Like, there isn't any place outside of the mechanic shop, because you give your social security number to every loan agency, you give your social security number to cash advance places. There are very few places that you haven't waved your social security number around. The only thing you can do to protect your social security number is to block that bad boy so that don't nobody report on it. So if your social security number isn't locked with the 3 major credit agencies, you should probably contact all 3 of them and lock your credit so that ain't nobody reporting on your credit. If you want to unlock your credit so that they can throw down on some positive lines of credit and then lock that bad boy back up, you want to keep it locked so that ain't nobody saying nothing negative on your credit report, because if it's not unlocked, they can't access it. He says, I still have a credit union bank account in Utah since 2008, and it has 5% checking account. I put in $10 a month, keeping it open. You have some credit unions and checking accounts that do not require you to add money to it to keep it open. You only have to have a minimum balance on the account, and if you maintain above that minimum balance, it just stays open. You got some accounts that just have to have a positive balance, which is 1 penny or higher. You have some that has to have a minimum $5 in it, like Navy Federal. And Navy Federal will put that $5 in there and then say that your account is at a 0 balance, because you can't spend that $5 without closing out your account. So it'll have $5 plus the 1 to 5, 10, 20 cents that's in your account, just to make sure that your account stays open. You'll forget that you have that account there and start getting interest payments from the bank because you just put money there and you forgot about it. And that's what I was telling some of my family members earlier today, is that if you put $5, $10, $20 out of each one of your paychecks and put it aside, you could build up money, because if you put it aside and forget about it, you're not going to spend it when you have impulse buying. Then when you have an emergency, that's when you're going to scramble and start looking for emergency funds. When you scramble and look for emergency funds, oh snap, I got that Utah bank account. Oh snap, I got that Nebraska bank account. Oh snap, I got that Tennessee bank account. I can redirect some money from over there and I can take care of this over here. But if you never put any money aside, you're never going to have anything extra to do anything with. I was telling my homeboy about how, yeah, it's compounding interest. That's right. And I was telling my homeboy about 4 or 5 of them. I told you guys on the show about the REITs. I told you guys about the REITs that are producing monthly dividends. I was telling y'all about that. I went through like 4 or 5 of them on the show. where each one of them is putting almost 18% interest out. I was just talking about that like an hour and a half ago, where we would be able to literally put $1,000 in there and start getting back almost $200 a year. And people are, oh yeah, $200 is not a lot of money. Shit, $200 that'll pay for car insurance, that'll put gas in your car, that'll pay for your phone bill. Sometimes like that money starts adding up. And if you take the money that you don't need after you use the dividends to pay your bills and you put that into the principal of your investments, then you're going to get more dividends next month, and you're going to keep getting more dividends until you start making more money than you got bills. Then you're working for fun instead of working for necessity. You can quit your job at any time because you're making more than 100% of the cost of your standard of living as profits from your investments. Then you can just live off of a percentage of the dividends given to you, which gives you the ability to take the other percentage that you don't need, reinvest it back in as principal, and continue to increase the quantity of money that's being given to you on a monthly basis. So the reason why I tell you about that is because we talked about real quick. Some says another hack is as long as you don't pay anything on your debt till it gets cleared in 7 years. We ain't going down that road, because if you got debt that got charged off, fuck it. Don't even worry about it no more. Don't give two shits about it. Once they charge that bitch off, just throw all the letters they send you in the mail in the trash until somebody starts garnishing wages out your check, which they very rarely do. You just don't even worry about that shit, because they're gonna write it off within 7. It is unclaimable debt after 3 to 5 years, depending on what it is. So they technically can't come after you for it. And all you really got to do is send them a cease and desist letter, because depending on what state that you're in, if you send them a written letter telling them to stop communicating on that particular debt, because whatever law, code, or statute in that city or state says that it is unlawful for them to attempt to collect the debt after X date, and it is after X date, further communication after this letter is only the confirmation letter, because if it is not the confirmation letter, a lawsuit will follow where they're going to pay you more money than what they're looking for. They'll stop talking to you. Leave it on your credit report. Instead of spending all that money on interest trying to fix your past debt, you take all your money and invest it somewhere else and make enough profits where you can use your benefits when that shit writes off your taxes to go invest in some other shit. You can get yourself a 700, 725 credit score just by not letting anything get charged off for 8 years. And you'll be good. You ain't got nothing else to worry about. So he's right about that. You said exactly, pretend that it's not there. He said, so run that card, player. Yeah, well, if the card is ran up, bro, you just charge that bitch off. But what was the other thing I was saying? I was saying about the interest. I was saying that if you put your money in the right spot, and then you're living off of a percentage, because I said before that you have to be living off of 30%, 30 or 40% of your income, and that is a successful business. And as people, we are supposed to be acting like businesses, because our social security number is our stock option. Our government name is us doing commerce with the United States government, which is why we have to have a driver's license, because it's a license to do commercial travel. We are a business. So when we travel from one spot to the next as a U.S. citizen, we are a business traveling, which is a commercial travel, which is why we have to have that driver's license. People are trying to find ways to wiggle their way out of that damn driver's license. No, don't wiggle your way out of that driver's license. Wiggle your way into a C corporation status or a LLC corporation status, where you can get a bunch of deductions on the money that they're trying to take out of your pocket. That's what you do. You don't try to squirm your way out of being entitled to all of your rights and entitlements as a constitutional citizen of the United States. You want to wiggle yourself into exemptions from paying shit as a wealthy United States citizen. That's what you want to worm your way into. But I was about to tell you guys about how, after we finished talking about what happened with Elon Musk yesterday, we were talking about cybersecurity and investing in all those stocks in cybersecurity, and how you can make you a shit ton of money off of cybersecurity. And I was just telling y'all when we started the show today how Donald Trump said, fuck them goddamn plastic, paper straws. We're going back to plastic straws. So if you're not investing in plastic right now, you probably should, because he just put the executive order out there yesterday, which means that if you're investing in paper, you should start investing in plastic. Sell all your paper stocks, buy plastic stocks. It's a short-lived boom, but by the end of the year, plastic is going to be on the rise, because all government entities are going to stop using paper straws, start using plastic straws, which means that most companies are going to start following the lead of the governmental entities. And when you think about governmental entities, guess who all is government? Because you already know that the White House is government, CIA, FBI, NSA, ISIS, the police department, the military, the school board, the the local schools. These are all government entities because they're funded by the United States government. So they're not going to have paper straws at the local high schools anymore because they're going to do away with them. So what's going on, Carl? I'm doing all right tonight, man. It's good to see you guys, man. It's good to see you. I'm going to have to start teeing the show off at 11 o'clock because y'all started rolling in right at 11 o'clock. And I had already put an hour in because I had finally started the show damn near all time. I had finally started the show damn near at 10 o'clock. I might have to push the show back to like 10:50 and start the show off. That way I'm airing at 11 when y'all come in, because all of us come in at the same time. And it's last 4 days, y'all been coming in at the exact same time around about. And I would have gave y'all a whole hour worth of discussion, but I don't know. I already talked about it. I'm talking about it again because y'all just popped up, and because y'all are awesome. Y'all were able to show some support, and I really appreciate that. After we shut everybody down, they're scared to come back. But the one lady, she's sweetheart. She's gonna come back. I know she's gonna come back, but she want to come back on one of them social inequality topics. So I gotta wait till she come back on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and dive into one of those topics when we start talking about how these women is the problem with the women not being happy with the men, because it ain't the man's problem, because I'm happy with being a man. She's not happy with me being a man. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm trying to make money in 13 different countries. But outside of cybersecurity, with the cybersecurity making all this extra money and the shift from paper straws to plastic straws, Donald Trump was talking about putting a dome over the U.S. Country. And I was like, shit, what the fuck is we about to go through that this man is talking about putting a gigantic protective barrier over the United States? He ain't talking about the protective barrier like from radiation or anything. He's talking about putting a protective barrier over the United States, like that one movie, not Last Survivor, but I'm trying to think of that one movie that was the alien invasion, where the people were being recruited as test pilots to as drone pilots to fight for the resistance, and they had built little pods in the city. It was this one family where the husband was a soldier, the wife was defiant, and the children felt abandoned by the parents because all the parents knew how to do was fight. So the children separated themselves from the family, went into the shelter inside of the city, and both of the parents went to war. That movie, I was like, bro, are we preparing for an alien invasion, or are we just preparing for missiles from like China? We're not gonna have to worry about Russia because, you know, Russia's doing all right. Russia minding their own business. Everybody think, oh, the Russians. Shoot, let me go talk to Germany and Russia. They got some fast cars that are durable, where the transmission don't blow inside of 5,000 miles like a Jaguar. They got engines that last a long time. You talk about made in America. It ain't made in America. It's made in China. Ford Mustang. Look at that. Go look at that Ford Mustang. Okay. I want you to go look at that Ford Mustang. I love Mustang. Ford fan. Dodge fan when it comes to trucks. I know them little kids out there with the Hellcat and the Demon and stuff. Look at the car though. Look at the car though. Oh, American made. My ass. Energy efficiency parts came from China. Mustang has Toyota parts on it. EcoBoost, that's from China. That's so no. Some of them bomb ass brake pads from China, made in Thailand. So, you know, the only difference between the cars that come from China versus the cars that come from Germany, which is why I love Audi and Jetta, because Jetta is from Germany too. I like and the Fusion, but more so the Jetta. But those cars were made for the Autobahn, so they were made for high speeds, They were made for long distance driving. They were made for like running hot over an extended period of time and not blowing the engine, stuff to that effect. And you get that in Russia and in Germany, and those Russian made and German made vehicles come to America, where like 300 miles is a long trip in America. 300 miles is a short cruise in other countries. You know what I'm saying? and we be complaining about that. You know, I took a 2,000-mile drive just last year, and everybody pissed off, like 36 hours. I'm like, that's because your ass was driving slow. Because me, I'd have knocked that out in like 15 hours. I'd have been good with it. But yeah, and you say all of cell phones are too. Yeah, the cell phones, the semiconductors are made in Taiwan. So the Snapdragon software on a chip that me and Mr. Pibbs was arguing about on the show, because he kept trying to say that it was a chip, and I'm like, no, it's a program. It's a program that they put on a processing chip. They put that in all of it's in my internet system right now, the Snapdragon software, and it's coming from other countries. And then, you know, Donald Trump put the tariffs down, so all the cell phones are going to cost another $200 to $500 more than what they used to. But did you know there's a law where they're not supposed to sell the phones more than $700 a piece, which is why they're leasing the phones to everybody for 18 months, because they're legally not supposed to sell the phone to you for $2,000. Go Google that. Look, I be telling y'all stuff. I don't want nobody, oh, he lying. I'm going to tell you right now. Look, go ask the Google lady, right? I'm telling you right now, go ask the Google lady. What is the legal limit for the price of a cell phone in the United States? And last time I checked it, I believe it said $768 or $789 is what the cell phones are supposed to stop at price-wise. $1,500 for an S23, $1,700 for an S24 Ultra. S25 Ultra is about to come out. The $1,500 for the iPhone 16, iPhone 15. You're not buying that cash up front. Most people can't afford that. So they make you put down $400 of taxes, and then they will give you a incentive where you have a 18-month requirement to maintain your phone service, and they will give you an $800 rebate on your $2,000 phone, right? So what that does is that if you want to pay $2,000 for the phone, that's your choice. You pay $2,000 for the phone, or you guarantee us that you're going to give us a no contract. You're going to give us 2 years of service, and we're going to give you the phone for the legally authorized $600 fucking rate, which makes no damn sense. But we as idiots think, oh, I'm getting a deal because I'm getting this $2,000 phone for $600. No, that's how much the damn phone costs. He said, why can't we make our own phones? Because it costs too much money for us to make our own coffee at Starbucks in America, because people want to form fucking unions because they want goddamn $40 an hour to stir our goddamn cup of coffee with a blender. When Elon Musk got 15 damn Terminator style iRobots that can make margaritas and mojitos, we got high school dropouts trying to get bachelor's degrees to be fucking baristas so that they can demand a $45 an hour paycheck to make me a coffee with a fucking smiley face made out of whipped cream. That's why we don't make cell phones in America. Not because we can't, because Asians will make it for a third of the price and not bitch about it. That's why. That's why offshore was happening. American companies are sweatshops, and no. The motherfucker, if anybody got a T-Mobile cell phone right now, co-sign on the ticket that half the time somebody from the Philippines is answering the phone right now for customer service. Why? Because if you can get a girlfriend for $500 a month out there, you know that the American companies can get an employee for $500 a month to answer the damn phones and be so nice and so respectful and so helpful and put up with your bullshit and your customer complaints that has nothing to do with them, because they're not even in your country. They are not responsible for the mistake, but they're going to make you less pissed off before you get off the phone, and they're going to get paid $500 or $700 a month to do it. That's why everything gets offshore, because it's cheaper for the business. So instead of the business charging us $2,000 a month for the phone service, they reduce the cost of labor by putting it in a country that's not going to demand $50 an hour. Because if they're getting paid $500 a month, they're getting paid a little over $100 a week Most of us want $100 an hour. He said IT costs China 10 times to make. No, IT does not cost China 10 times to make. IT costs America 10 times to export it in. It's 10% to make it over in China. That's why they're making it in China. I just got on $25. Yep. All while wearing beanies, facial piercings, tattoos. Look, one of the supervisors that was helping me with the internet problem that we were dealing with back in November, she missed 4 days from work because her mama's sick. You the boss. You done missed 4 days of work because they value family. We don't value family in America. We can give a fuck. I can tell you right now, it's the American way that if you sick, if you're not dead, I come visit you when I get off. If you're dead, it's too late. If you're dying and they're about to pull a plug, okay, I could take off from work for a couple hours so that we could flip a coin at who gets to do it. But if you're not externally bleeding right now, that shit can wait. If you're internally bleeding, somebody else can take you to the hospital. If you're stable, you can wait. If you're dying, I can wait until you're dead, and then I got to go back to work before your body get cold and clock back in. That's the American way. You got some folks that use, oh, my family member's sick, I can't do work, I can't do. That's because your ass didn't want to work in the first fucking place. Because if you wanted that fucking money, your family member could be getting rushed to ICU right now, and you would say, nah, man, I'll just go ahead and finish my shift, because they're not going to let. What kind of businessman would I be sitting in the lobby waiting room? Call me heartless, I don't care. What kind of businessman would I be sitting in the lobby waiting room waiting for somebody to come and tell me for 6 to 8 hours that they're fine, or worse, they're dead? I could have finished my shift in that 6 to 8 hours, then went to the hospital and actually seen you if you're alive, or collect your belongings if you were dead. Why am I sitting in the hospital waiting for somebody to tell me whether or not you made it or not? You could tell me that you all good, and then I can come and see you, or you could tell me that it ain't gonna work out, and then I can just figure out something else. I don't know, but that's why I was saying, I'm like, man, the way they got it going, we're in this position where the people are not doing what they're supposed to do, and because they're not doing what they're supposed to do, that is why we're in the situation that we're in, where we're not able to tag in on the people that are supposed to make the right choices in our lives. So I was like, bro, there's so many different ways that we can do shit. There's so many different ways that we could jump in on shit. But it's like, just like that argument that we had over the weekend. Like we have those debates because people who don't want to succeed will make excuses about failure. People who want to have something to complain about deliberately don't achieve so that they can complain about not achieving. You've got people right now that are doing motivational speeches about how the government is holding them back. I make money every day because I choose to go to work. I make money when I make money because I choose the hours that I work. I get paid the amount of money that I get paid because I choose to put in the effort to bring in that quantity of money. The government don't control how much money I make. And just note to self, I'm subcontracted from China. I'm an American employee, small business owner, subcontracted from China. Does America really control whether or not I make money? When they start blocking all airwaves from China, then probably. When Asia is no longer allowed to broadcast in the United States, that might be an issue. But as long as the platforms that I utilize are able to be received from China, I'm going to make my money from China. That's what I'm telling you. Like, my phones be ringing during the show. You know why my phone's ringing during the show? Because it's 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon in China. That's why. And all of my clients are getting out of school, getting off from work, and they're on their way back to the house, and like, hey, I need you. So they start texting me and calling me and everything. Like, my phone start going off at midnight. The same thing happened a couple nights ago when you were here. Remember that call? The same thing happened on Monday. Same thing happened on Sunday. Same time of night. phone started ringing while I was on the podcast because Asia's awake. And from now until 8 a.m., Asia is going to be talking to me, you know? So I'm going to make my money sitting in this chair on this computer talking to Asia, which is why I make sure that I got my internet service up and running. But that is the privileges of being a digital nomad, being able to make money off of your laptop when you feel like it. I don't have to cater to America. I cater to the world. So anybody who's got active functioning internet service can connect to me and do business with me. Anybody that if I've got active connected internet service, I can do business with them. And we can find each other on the global internet. So the government ain't keeping us down. The government's not holding us back. We are not poor. If we are poor, we are not poor because of the decisions of the top 1%. We are poor because we make poor decisions. The top 1% profits off of those poor decisions. That's called capitalism. You capitalize off of the work of the poor, and you capitalize off of the stupid decisions of the wasteful. That's it. So, how do billionaires make more money? Do we fight about taxes? No, fuck it. Fuck it. Don't fight about taxes. Because think about this. You pay taxes every time you buy something. You pay taxes for the car, you pay taxes for the house, you pay taxes for the because they take it out of the money. You got no choice. If you sell a house, they're taking tax money out. If you buy a house, they're taking tax money out. You buy a car, they're charging you taxes on top of buying a car. You understand? You buy groceries, they're taking money out of your pocket for taxes for buying groceries. You buy a movie ticket, they're taxing you for the movie ticket. 8% in some cities and states, 10% in others, 7% in some, but you're paying taxes. So why tax the income? It makes no sense. The more money you have to spend, the more money you voluntarily give away. Instead of forcing it out of your pocket once a year, let them give it away throughout the year, buying all kinds of stupid, frivolous shit. Then guess how the billionaires stay billionaires on top of that? What's going to happen is that they're going to then own all of the shit that we value. Cybersecurity, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, entertainment, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, Google. They just hit Google with a lawsuit because Google violated the monopoly law because Google is the primary shareholder of all of Google's competition. Notice Google is the primary search engine on all cell phones. Google is the primary search engine on all computers. Google is the primary software in Google cell phones. Google is the primary Google is so dominant as a monopoly that you don't even want to not use Google. Ain't that some shit? Google's so dominant, you don't even want to not use Google. You know, I get pissed off when Yahoo pop up on my laptop. It's that serious. I got a virus blocker. I'm treating a web browser, a legitimate web browser, as a virus because I don't want to use it, because I have been conditioned to use Google. Everything that I have runs through Google. All of our passwords run through Google. Our Gmail account is attached to our phone as a primary most of the time. A lot of us stop using Hotmail because it's unattractive as business people. We use Gmail. It's more appropriate as a public domain. So all of our cell phones are on Gmail. So all of our contacts are on our Gmail email account. All of our photos are in our Gmail photo section. All of the stuff that we use is run through Google. And because of that, Google makes a shit ton of money everywhere. And then Google is going to charge you $24 a month to give you 2 terabytes of data space because all of your pictures are automatically uploaded to your Gmail account. And you know how much motherfuckers take photos and videos these days. It is hard to not hit 2 terabytes of data inside of a year. And when you start talking about 20 years worth of photos and videos at 1 to 2 gigs per photo and video, it is not that hard with all these goddamn TikTok videos that these jackasses is out here doing, shaking their behinds on social media for likes and views. It ain't that hard to hit 2 terabytes of data before you stop having the ability to receive emails from your Gmail. And the fact is that with all this stuff going on, he said Google is the equivalent to BlackRock and Vanguard. No, yeah, you are damn sure right. Exactly. But that is how the 1% make money. They're not going to fight you for it. They're going to give it to you. They're going to give it to you because you're going to spend it. That's why. If you want to be part of the top 1%, you find out what the top 1% invested in and you invest in it too. That's it. So when Trump was investing in Bitcoin, you invest in Bitcoin. He's about to invest in TikTok, you invest in TikTok. He's about to invest in cybersecurity and solar energy so that he can invest in Bitcoin mining. You invest in that shit. Why? Because if you dip your straw into everything he dipped his straw in, you're going to get the same thing he's going to get. It's just going to be a lower percentage because he's a billionaire and you're not. But if your money's making money for you, you will be able to utilize more profits off of his investment strategy because he is investing in things that he needs and he wants and he uses. And that is a different strategy than what most people do. Most people just invest in stuff that's popular. Most people just invest in stuff that's in season. Most people just invest in things that other people like. If you invest in the shit that you support, you buy Tesla because you drive Tesla. You drive Tesla, so you invest in Tesla stock. If you're driving Dodge, why are you investing in Tesla? Because you're spending money on Dodge. So why are you not investing in Dodge stock? If you wear Jordans, why are you investing in Nike? Why are you not investing in Jordan? Why did anybody who has 38 pairs of Jordan shoes, why do you not have Jordan stock? Think about it. Because everybody else is spending $350 for a fucking pair of Jordans is going to be putting dividends in your pocket. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. But this is what the rich do. This is how the rich stay rich. They're not holding us back from being fiscally responsible. We're just too stupid to save our money. We are initially designed and conditioned to impulse buy. And then what I would say our society, because it's not the government, our society is encouraging is impulse buy. Instead of you having to go find your wallet, because most people, their wallet is either sitting on a table in a random location because they live by themselves. It's in a drawer in a room that's usually closed or locked if they're living in a house with other people. Or the average adult, it's in the last outfit you were wearing when you took your clothes off. It's in the back pocket of your pants, front pocket of your pants, in the vest or jacket coat that you were wearing the last time you left your house. That's where the fuck your wallet is. As men, women, their wallet is in their purse, and their purse is wherever they put their purse down when they come in from the house. But when you want to buy something, nobody remembers their credit card information. Most people don't know what their driver's license number is. You remember your social security card, but you don't remember your driver's license number. Interesting. I'm going to get back to that. But nobody knows their credit card information. So if you want to buy something, the discouragement from making that impulse buy is that you have to find your wallet. More discouragement. If the lights are off and you were relaxing, now you don't want to have to turn on the lights and look for your wallet. More discouragement. You can't find your wallet. You started looking for it. You don't know where you put it at. You can't remember the last outfit you were wearing before you lost your wallet. Some people leave their wallet in their vehicle. I don't want to go outside and go get my wallet. So digital wallets come out. People who leave their money at home to keep themselves from wasteful spending. Well, it's on your cell phone now. So no excuse. You can make the purchase as long as you got your cell phone. They're encouraging impulse buy. We just finished talking about on the show that if you are looking up certain things, and after you finish looking up a few times, looking up the same thing or talking about that thing near your phone, you start getting ads about it. I know that most of y'all can back me up that after y'all got off the podcast with what we was talking about, y'all was getting stock option and real estate investment and other such ads about investing and making money and self-financed entrepreneurship ads that you wasn't getting before you followed today's show, yesterday's show, Sunday's show. You wasn't getting them ads until we had that 5-hour conversation. And the fact is that they're convincing you to spend money. But if you have it easily accessible, where Google gives you the ability to use your bioprint, use your thumbprint, to verify the transaction. So it's not an accidental purchase because you have to hold the button for 3 seconds for it to make the purchase. That's a conscious choice. That's equivalent to adding the suppressor to the end of the barrel. It took you a few seconds to do this move right here before you were able to take that shot. So now it's premeditated, which was literally the only reason why suppressors were outlawed, is because suppressors cannot be used outside of a premeditated scenario if it is not fixated on the firearm, because most firearms only have the suppressor on it when you decide to silence the shot. And having to decide to silence the shot means you can decide to take the shot. And if you got time to add a silencer to the shot, you didn't need to take that shot. That's where the outlaw of the silencer came from. Critical thinking. Because if your life is in danger, are you trying to silence this shot? I don't give a fuck who hears this shot. I'm trying to live. But back to that driver's license situation. Y'all gonna start remembering y'all driver's license after the day. I'm gonna tell you some shit. You get pulled over by a police officer and they want to identify you. They're going to ask you for your first name, last name, date of birth, social security number, phone number, address, all public record. You don't need none of that shit. If I give you my first and last name and my driver's license number, you can go look me up. All the information that is attached to my driver's license is public record. I am not required to give you anything else. Identifying myself as giving you my first and last name. And whatever your name is, you want to give them what is on your driver's license. So if you go by a nickname, if you've got a street name, if you go by your middle name instead of your first name, you don't give them that name. You give them whatever's on the driver's license. And even if your driver's license is outdated, even if you haven't updated your address in 20 years and you've moved 30 times, you tell them that is the correct address on that line. Whatever's on that ID is accurate. That's it. Tell them what the driver's license number is. Tell them your first and last name. Let them go figure everything else out. You are legally not required to tell them shit else. So if you know your driver's license number, you do not have to pull your driver's license out of your wallet. You don't. I know this because with my tan, if I reach for my wallet, I'm going to get shot faster than a little boy that got shot with the Skittles and a cell phone. So I make sure that I memorize my driver's license number so that if they ask me for my identification and proof of identification, instead of giving them my first, last name, and social security number, I'm going to give them my first, last name, and my driver's license number. What's your phone number? You only need to identify what is on my driver's license. Run my name, run my driver's license, and whatever you find, that's it. You ain't getting nothing else without a lawyer. And that is only in those cities and states where the duty to identify is a necessity. Beyond that, you ain't got to tell them shit. And usually the duty to identify comes with a traffic stop. Now, and that's the reason why I tell you that, because you don't got to give them your driver's license on a traffic stop. You only got to tell them who you are. So they want to know, I need to make sure that your driver's license is valid. You got to show me your driver's license. No, I don't. I can give you my driver's license number. I can tell you who I am, first and last name, and then you can go and run it and see if my driver's license is valid. You do not need to prove that I have my driver's license on my person. You need to prove that my driving privileges are current. And since you need to prove that my driving privileges are current, if I tell you what my driver's license number is, that validates my driver's license. And then I tell you the name that's on a driver's license, that values my identity. You run my name in the system. If you've ever been arrested in your life in the United States as a minor or as an adult, they've got a photo, they've got fingerprints, and they can verify your face in their laptop, in their car. So you ain't got to give them nothing else. Driver's license, first and last name, tell them kick rocks after that. There is too many trigger happy. Look, hey, I'm going to tell you something right now. Second Amendment ready. It's within hand reach. So I could tell you that in my car, I'm not trying to give them no reasons to look for it for them to even say, oh, pow, 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 pow. He was reaching. No, I ain't reaching for shit, sir. I ain't reaching for shit. Hands on the steering wheel. I ain't answering no questions without a lawyer. First name, last name, driver's license. Run it. Give me my ticket. Send me on my way. If that's what you plan on doing, we'll argue about this in court. Recording everything. Body cam, dash cam, cell phone cam. I tell people all the time, get yourself a body cam. It's like $10 off of Temu. No, $40 if you get a good one. Because I got one of them over here too. Hold on a second, y'all. I got like 3 of them motherfuckers right here. You get you one of these. Get you one of these little bad boys right here. Get you one of these. This is the same one that Johnny Law got. 8 hours of recording time, 30 minutes to charge it, 500 gigabyte SD card. Put it into your laptop. You can crop it all the way down to the shit that went down and everything that happened right before it. It has features that allows you to do motion sensor that activates it when it's on standby mode. So when shit starts happening, it starts recording. You can have it on for 8 full hours. Most people aren't gone for 8 full hours unless they're going to work, which means, where did I get it? I got it off of Temu. I can get, matter of fact, I got Temu's link in my description, but I got it off of Temu. And the fact is that, matter of fact, I'm going to take the time right now to go and find it off of Temu, and I'm going to have one of my homeboys put it into the comment section. Hey, you know who you are. Go ahead. Go ahead and drop that into the comment section for me. They got a few of them out there, as a matter of fact. They got some of the ones that are $25 right now. I got mine when it was $34. They got some that are $40 right now. And the fact is that at the end of the day, you could buy one and click the link and go up there, go grab you one. And that bitch lasts you 8 hours on the 8 hours, one charge. It doesn't come with an SD card, but you got to buy an SD card, and an SD card from Temu is like less than $5. Put the SD card up there too. Put the SD card, and you can buy all that shit at the same time. You can buy all that shit at the same time. And they'll give you SD cards that you can put into your thing, and then this shit will it'll all come in. And funny thing about Temu, bro, right now, some of the stuff that's coming from China got delays because customs is holding everybody up. So Temu has this thing where they guarantee you that your shit's going to come within 2 weeks, right? Within 7 to 14 days. Because of customs, there's a 5 to 7 day delay. The agreement is that if in the event that the stuff don't show up in a timely fashion, then they're gonna take $5 off your order. So if in the event that you want some stuff, then he's telling me that he said that he tried to do it and he couldn't get it up there. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me get into from over here. I got to get into the show now because he's gonna have to send me all them links, and I'm gonna have to throw them links in there. But we got a Temu link in the description as well. And if you click on that Temu link in the description, towards the middle of the description, underneath all of the show songs, it will tell you that we've got what's going on with Temu. And then if you click that link, it'll take you directly to the platform. And then the platform, it will give you the ability to it's saying go live. Yeah, I know it's live. I gotta click the link. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta turn off. Yeah, the sound is off. Okay. And then I have to throw it into the comment section because apparently I put a block in there to keep people from spamming my thing because I had some trolls come through. And I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. So email it to me. So hold on a second. We're gonna get a couple of these things up here. We're gonna get a couple of them up here. I'm gonna get y'all right tonight because if you get it off of Temu, they will save you $5 on your shipment if your shipment take too long. So that's the best part about it, because knowing that the tariffs is going to cause shit to take too goddamn long, you can get there and go and order a whole bunch of stuff from a whole bunch of different places, and then you can end up in a position where they'll save you money on it. So it might cost you $3 to $5 to buy it, but they're going to give you $5 back if it don't get there on time. So if it don't get there on time, now you're saving a shit ton of money. Now you're like, oh, dope. So the $40 body cam, if 5 items come late, you get $25 back. The $40 body cam end up being $10, $15. So yeah, I tell y'all all the time, I'm always trying to tell y'all ways to help you do you better. But one of the reasons why I say get a body cam is because don't nobody care about the body cam, especially if you turn off the little flashy light. If you turn off the little flashy light, they don't know that it's even working. So it's there. It's an ornament on your chest. Nobody's going to argue about it. But if you have your cell phone shoved in somebody's face, that cell phone shoved in somebody's face, they're going to get offended by that. They're going to be like, oh, I don't like to be recorded. This, that, and the third. It's the law. You can't record me. No, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. First, most states are single party record states, and the single party record states only need the consent of one of the people involved in a video to be recorded. And as a result, that means that if I'm involved in the recording, I'm the only person that has to say it's okay for this recording to happen. So if you don't like that, you can get out of the line of sight of the camera. Now, what that also means is that if they don't want to be on the camera, they can't talk to me, because as long as I am here, I am recording. And since I am recording while I am here, you must get out of my way or get recorded, because in order, you have to consent to being recorded to talk to me. And that's what people don't realize. I'm like, yeah, that's that shit. So I threw it. I tried this time. Let's see if it pop up. I threw it into the comment section, all of the links to all of the things. And then I'm going to do it again from the main, just to make sure that I could throw it in here for those of you that are listening to me from Twitch and or Twitter. You guys can see all of those links will go to I gave you 2 links to the SD cards. I gave you 2 links to the body camera, and you can click those links, go straight over there, buy it direct. And it'll get you guys. But I also have links in my bio that you guys can utilize if you don't already have a Temu account. I got a referral link all the way down there, up underneath the StreamYard link, all the way up underneath that Opus Clip link. I have a link that you guys can utilize to set you up, and that's a referral link, because I'm an affiliate marketer. I affiliate all of the products that I use. I support it. If it works well, I tell you that it works well. YouTube is like, oh, we offer 70% off if they make purchases between now and Valentine's Day. So who cares about the 70% off? If you hit Temu on the right day of the week, they give you $250 off if you make a $40 purchase. So but everything that you can buy off of Amazon outside of weapons and ammunition, you can get it off of Temu at a cheaper price. The only thing that you probably can't find from Temu that you can find on Amazon is a 17-inch laptop. Probably the only thing that I've found outside of guns and ammunition and alcohol. But you've got cannabis growing devices. You've got incubators. You've got adult stuff. You've got everything for cars. You don't have automotive parts, but you have all the tools that you can utilize to customize your car. Everything they have, holsters, scopes. They have everything else that you want for your thing. And I could tell you, because I got a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, and I could tell you that this tack light was from Temu. It came from Temu. I couldn't get that. Yeah, I got a compensator on there too. I'm not getting a suppressor. I got a compensator. The extended mag. I'm telling you, 10 rounds extended mag. Why did I get a 10-round extended mag? Because New York has a 10-round mag limit. because if I'm a travel from California with a 10 round mag limit to New York with a 10 round mag limit, I don't want to have to take 15 rounds out of a 15 round or take 5 rounds out of a 15 round gun, because it makes absolutely no sense for me to and then if I forget, I get charged 5 years for every round over the limit. So if I have 10 rounds, if I'm supposed to have 10 rounds by law, they catch me with 12 rounds. I just caught 10 years. I'm not doing that. So if I got a 10 round max, I got less than 10 rounds in there, they're not going to give me no trouble. They check all my mags. They're not going to give me any trouble. But the fact is that you can get whatever you need off of Temu. And that's what I'm telling you. If something happens to your cell phone, if you need to make a call, you got your body camera going, you can still record the situation while you're using your cell phone to make a call. I tell people right now, don't be sitting over there bullshitting around and, oh, 911, put your ass on hold. But 1112 is the worldwide emergency phone number. You hit 1112, you talking to dispatch in less than 5 seconds. And when you tell dispatch, the first thing you're going to tell them is that your safety is being threatened by a police officer and you need a supervisor at this location. That's it. That's it. They're going to send somebody. It ain't got to be his supervisor. They're going to send somebody. So if you hit 1112, you can complain about the local police officers in your area and tell them that you need a supervisor at this location. Matter of fact, you can do a situation like if the police is acting an ass in your area and they inside of the squad car and you're nowhere near the squad car where like they can mess with you, you don't have to call them and say, oh, the police is acting an ass. You call the police and say that there's a suspicious vehicle in the area, give them the police number of the squad car. They're going to call it in. And when they call it into that location, the police officer that's in the squad car knows that's their plates. They're going to move their car. You ain't even got to talk to them. You ain't got to shove your cell phone in their face and threaten their safety or, oh, I pay your salary. You work for me. Nah, fuck that shit, bro. Hey, this jackass is there's a unknown suspicious vehicle about 30 feet away from my apartment. License plate XYZ123. It's talking to another vehicle. It could potentially be a drug deal. I'm not sure. They just pulled up out of nowhere and they're just sitting there. It's very suspicious. If you could get them to relocate, I greatly appreciate that. Done. Give it a few minutes. And I guarantee you they're going to start the engines up and pull off because they're not authorized to be there. They're not authorized to be there. They're not supposed to camp anywhere. So if you call it in, they're going to move. If you rat out their location, they're going to move. Carl says, I think I'm going to move to China. It would save me delivery charges. No, I got a student that's in Thailand right now. And he was trying to buy a TI-86 laptop last night. We were talking about it because he needs it for his calculus. And Amazon will sell it. eBay and Amazon will both sell it. eBay is cheaper than Amazon. Amazon will sell a TI-86 for $800, but eBay will sell a used one for $25. But they're going to charge $55 for shipping because of the export fees. So now he's paying $72 for a fucking laptop. I mean, for a calculator that he otherwise would have paid like $25 plus $5 worth of shipping because he's getting it shipped overseas. Them import export fees is going to be a son of a bitch. The distributors of drop shipping is going to raise the price of products either by adding extra shipping and handling, or they're going to raise the base price of the product and not charge shipping and handling to offset how much they have to pay for shipping and handling due to the tariffs increasing import-export with China, Mexico, and Canada. So the only way you're not going to get fucked on buying stuff and getting it shipped to your house is if you move out of America. Because Canada doesn't have problems with getting stuff from China. America is going to have problems with getting stuff from China. So if you live in America, you just got to deal with the inflation. But buying from Temu, everything is like, if it takes for, like, I just bought 3 things. And look, okay, so I bought some combat boots. I bought a knife, a holster for the knife. I'm telling you, you could buy weapons, swords, and all kinds of stuff. This is real shit. And 3 different items. I just got back $15 because it's late. It was supposed to be here yesterday. I just got $15 back. The shoes cost $44. I got $15 back because they're gonna be late. I bought them because I knew they were gonna be late. I made it a point to buy from different people. So I didn't get all of it from the same person. I made a point to buy it from different people. And I do not elect for the 31-day delay trip unless they're going to reduce the price. So they're guaranteed to send it, or they're going to take $5 off of each one of the items that I bought. So if one item costs $5 and I just got back $15, it's free. That's life. These are the things we talk about, the tips and tricks and hacks that can help you guys save money when you're gonna spend money on stuff that you need. And I needed them combat boots because I'm in an area where there's snow. I'm not wearing low top shoes in snow. I'm not gonna not have high top shoes when the snow is bigger than my dog. And I want to make sure that they got the kind of boots that can deal with slush and mud and other such. So I went and bought me something different than the sneakers that I had. And outside of that, all I got is dress shoes because all I wear is suits. So I said, I need something a little bit more tactical for the weather and environment that I'm in. So I went and bought me some tactical boots. I don't impulse buy. I can look at it, want it for years, never pay for it. But see, tack light, you can use that, especially since the tack light's got a light sensitive button, a sensitive button on it where I can activate the tack light while it's still in the holster. So when I draw it out of the holster, the light's already on. So I don't have to worry about activating the light before I pull the trigger. I can just point the light at something and take fire, which means that whatever target I got inside of a 20-yard radius is going to get hit in the throat, because I don't aim for the chest because the body armor stops right here. So if you aim right here and they duck, you took their jawline out, so they ain't got no mouth. Because people don't go to the side. They go down when they're getting shot at. So if you aim for the throat, you hit them in the face. They're not shooting back after that. But if you aim for center mass and they're wearing a body armor, they it don't always penetrate. By the way, Temu sells body armor for like less than $300, which is cheaper than Safeguard that sells them at $800. And if you want to get stage 3 and stage 4 pads from Safeguard or Stealth Pro, they're like $300 to $500 a plate. And you can get you some military grade stage 3, stage 4 pads for your body armor. That's not sold on Temu, but you can get you some wear it under the clothes body armor where if they decide to accidentally shoot you at a traffic stop, they can only shoot you till you fall. And then if you stop moving and they arrest you and then you go to jail, but you survived because they shot you in the body armor, because police are trained to shoot at center mass and then say stop resisting. They're not trained to hit you with the stun gun and then say stop resisting. They're trained to shoot you in the chest and then say stop resisting. So if they shot you 5 times in the chest and you went to the ground and then they arrest you, you go to jail and you say, well, Your Honor, they tried to murder me at a traffic stop and I was unarmed. You lived. Now you can sue them and get $5 or $10 million because they tried to kill you unjustifiably. But if you don't have body armor at a traffic light and they kill you, it's just a wrongful death. If that woman who was cooking when the police came to save her and shot her to death in her kitchen was wearing body armor, she would still be alive today and she would have been a millionaire, because if you survive what the police do to you, you can sue them and get rectification for it. But you've got to survive. If you're not prepared for the situation to go south, you're not going to survive. And you can legally take your body armor into every bank and courthouse in the United States. Middle district courts will try their best not to let you go in there with body armor on. And if I were you, if you have to go to a courtroom that's not going to allow you to wear body armor, you would just elect to visit that courtroom virtually, because your safety is in jeopardy. Washington wasn't safe in January when they marched on Washington. So what makes you think the rest of the country is safe when Washington has the most CIA agents in the country? I'm just trying to say, I'm not a conspiracy freak. I just know how to protect myself under the Constitution that was not created for me, because my ancestors were considered property when the Constitution was made. So I understand that the Constitution isn't made for me. I just understand also that I can utilize the laws, rules, and regulations of this country to my advantage now that I am part of the equality that isn't always equal. Carl says, my friend, thanks for the information. Going to buy some of those goodies. Have a good night, my friend. I'm going to see you tomorrow, Carl. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe when y'all do decide to swing back through here. Also, hit that like button on today's show before y'all walk out of here, because that lets the algorithm that is programmed to show the water dance and Cooking with Kaya to come and show this show to more people, so that you guys can get more communication and interaction about somebody that's not just gonna bitch about how shit sucks. Because I've seen certain podcasts like the Red Pill and the whatever podcast that they actually do have some scenarios where out of that 6 to 12 hour podcast that they actually do make sense at some point, and they turn that into a 5-minute reel or a 1-minute reel. But that 1 minute is the one of very few valid moments out of a 6-hour podcast. And I mean, yeah, they got 4 million subscribers and 0.1% viewership, which means that they've got about 10,000 to 50,000 followers watching them at a time out of the 4 million people that subscribe. But the fact is that out of 6 hours, they only have like 5 or 10 minutes worth of value that the viewers can watch. And they're not, the average person isn't getting anything out of that conversation outside of devaluing the person that said something stupid on the podcast. I want to be the kind of podcast that provides you guys with knowledge and information that you guys can use to make yourselves more successful on a day-to-day basis, so that you guys can make more informed decisions and improve your lifestyle by making informed decisions through the information that I found. And then I'm not even trying to give you information, just trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Of course, trust me, because I know what I'm talking about, because you peer reviewed my information. You went and took the time to go and ask the Google lady, so that as soon as you finished asking the Google lady, she confirmed everything I told you was true. Everything that I tell you is legit. If you didn't know, now you know. If you use the links that I sent to you today about the page that definitely does save you money in comparison to Amazon, where you can buy all kinds of shit a whole lot cheaper, and it'll give you $5 back every time you purchase something. You buy something and come back and tell me, yup, as sure as he said it, that's exactly what happened. And all I can tell you is I told you so. But just like I told you how you can save money by shopping on Temu instead of buying from Amazon for the exact same quality stuff. It is not low grade stuff. It is the same quality stuff. It is what it is on the picture, guaranteed. You just got to read the description of what it is showing you, because like they have the screen for the projector in the photo. They'll have the projector in the photo and the screen in the photo, but they're selling the screen, not the projector. So you think, oh, that's a cool picture on that projector, I'm gonna buy that projector. Read the description. It says projector backdrop screen. It's not selling a projector. But if all it has is a fucking projector in the photo, it's selling that exact projector. You know what I'm saying? So if you read the description before you make your purchase, because like I went over there looking for hidden doors, because I love stuff like that. I was looking for hidden doors. They don't sell the hidden doors. They sell the hinges for the hidden doors. But they show you how the hinges work on the hidden doors. But while you're looking at a picture of a hidden door, you have to read the description. It says hidden door hinges. They're very detailed on Temu. And you can save you a bunch of money. If you're going to spend money, you can save you a bunch of money. And you don't have to buy Amazon Prime to get next day delivery, because you don't want it to come tomorrow. You want it to come in 3 weeks so that they can give you back $5 per item. That's what you want. You're not buying it in a rush. You don't need it right now. You just want to get it eventually. That's how it works. And then you save money on your discretionary spending that you can utilize on that same platform to buy something else. And if you have enough credits there from the last time that you got a bunch of credits from your purchases, you can order something basically for free. And if that item that you ordered comes late, then you get $5 more from and you just keep doing that. You just keep doing that. It is a hack that the tariffs has caused that makes your frivolous spending turn a profit, because it is going to take 21 days for delivery, guaranteed, if it's coming from China. So you make sure that the distributor is going to ship it from overseas, where they're guaranteeing it to be here within 7 to 14 days from overseas. Don't select anything that says local warehouse. If it says local warehouse, that means it's already in the United States. You don't want that one. You want one that doesn't say local warehouse. That way it will take a while to get here. You're guaranteed to get the $5. This is almost like playing the stock market. It's just with shopping. So ladies, if y'all want to make y'all some money on some frivolous spending, they got nails, hair, they got all kind of stuff that women love. Girder belts, butt lifter, butt massagers, butt trainers, stomach strainers, everything that y'all do, heels, everything that y'all do. They got that on Temu too. Because the difference between a name brand product and a non-name brand product is stapling the name of the person who endorsed it. That's it. The product is still the same. I had a person who was in the music industry. He asked me, where can he go to get some quality music equipment? I told him about Temu. You can get a whole sound system, and you can get the noise canceling stuff to pad the whole room, noise canceling, and you can get all that stuff for less than a few $100s instead of going and getting you JBL and Pioneer $22,000 setup. You can go get something where you got you a nice soundboard equal like 22-inch soundboard, which is pretty big, for less than $100. And fact is that he can make himself rich first, then go buy the name brand shit. So that when you're doing your podcast with your name brand shit, it's got your soundboard on it, this, that, and the third. But you got a backup for the cheap one that does the same quality work, where you're not wasting a bunch of money on looking cool. Poor people spend more money looking rich, buying expensive name brand stuff because people recognize the brand. The value of the brand is the increased demand based on the products that are being sold from a society that idolizes branding. But a no-name brand item, same quality, 1/3 the price. Joseph, I don't know if you remember Payless? If you remember Pro Wings, kids used to get picked on that back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Pro Wings was the shoes that you went and got from Payless that had the little feathers, wing things next to the shoe instead of the Timberland tree on it. You remember them? Okay. Now, if you remember, Nelly made them shoes Air Force Ones. It is the same emblem on the side of that shoe. It just costs a couple $100 now instead of $20 at Payless. Pro Wings are Air Force Ones. Nah. Some people gonna want to argue against that, but go look at a picture of some Pro Wings, go look at a picture of some Air Force Ones. You're gonna be like, damn, that's the same goddamn. And then when you think about, look at the tree on the Timberland boots, and then look at that same tree on them $40 steel toe work boots at Walmart. It's the same fucking tree. The only difference is that one shoe has Timberland across it and the other shoe don't. But you're paying $75 more because it's a Timberland on it. And it's not even a steel toe shoe. But the other shoe that'll keep a forklift from crushing your big toe, which is actually more durable and more valuable for a man, especially since women are going to ask men to lift heavy objects. Somebody's going to drop it and it's going to drop on your foot. Why have Timberland boots that you can't scuff when you can have steel toe boots for 1/3 of the price that will protect your feet from being broken when she asks you to do some stupid shit when you decide to relax? Think about it now. Less likely to get your toe chopped off if you're wearing steel toe boots with the lawnmower running. People don't think about these things. But this is the stuff that we come across on my podcast on a regular basis that I enlighten you guys on things and give you guys the ability to rationalize from a different perspective. Because if we stop wasting money on stuff, we'll be able to have more money, to make more money, to live better lives. Rich people ain't keeping us broke. We're keeping us broke. We're keeping us broke 2 ways, 3 ways, because we make poor decisions. That's way number 1. We spend unnecessary money. That's reason number 2. And piggybacking off of that, we play Captain Save-A-Hole for people who don't deserve that. Oh, a friend or family member that did some stupid shit and now they need some money to bail themselves out of this bad situation. We're going to give them money that we don't have to bail them out of a bad situation because we don't want to see them suffer. Now we're suffering for money. They're broke. They can't pay us back. Now we're even more broke because we was living from paycheck to paycheck and we gave one of our paychecks to them for stupidity. Now we're in debt. They're in debt. They're not going to pay us back. Oh, but we blood brothers right now. We family now. Whenever we need one another, we got it. But if I need money to pay my rent, your ass ain't got it because you ain't had no money when I gave you my rent money to bail you out of that bullshit. If you did a contract with your friend and said, hey, I'll loan you this money, but you're going to have to pay me X number of dollars a month with 20% interest compounded monthly until you pay me back in full. Bet you that motherfucker stop asking you for money. And even if he don't, you made a 20% profit off of loaning him money. If you're going to profit 20% every time you loan your friend some money, ain't you going to loan your friend some money? Bro, I've been waiting on you to call me and ask me for something. I got you. You want $1,000? Sure. $1,200 on the back end plus 5% interest for the next 12 months. Write up the contract. Shit. I'm telling you. And then you could be a true triple OG double. Because I know what you're thinking. Oh, they ain't got to pay that contract. Who said? You got a car, right? Collateral. I'm going to put a title loan on your a title lien on your car. I'm going to loan you this $1,200. Plus the cost of the title lien to put it on and take it off. You're going to pay that back to me with interest. And if you pay it back, you get to keep your car. If you don't pay it back, I get to repossess your car. Bet you that motherfucker pay your money. They want $1,000, they're going to have to pay you back $2,200. Because if they don't, you're going to take their car. You damn right he'll stop asking. You damn right he'll stop begging. He'll stop asking you for shit. I had a homeboy. I got a business partner right now, matter of fact. I just showed him $3,000. You're welcome. If I needed him to hold me down, he can't. He talked to me. He made $3,000. Nah, I tell him, whenever I tell you to do something, you're supposed to do it. He tell me, oh, I don't work for you. I said, you do now. You do now because you don't make money, but I put money in your pocket, so you work for me. You can't be equal. You don't put money in my pocket. I put money in your pocket. We are not the same. I don't ask you for nothing, and I put money in your pocket, so that means you run errands for me. You do what I ask you to do. When I call, you answer. You take care of whatever I need you to take care of. That's the compensation for me putting money in your pocket. I'm not going to ask you for money back. If I can get you to do stuff that I don't want to do or I don't have the availability to do, you just got yourself a job. You work for me now. We have to leverage who we are and what we're capable of with our network, friends, family, estranged acquaintances in society, colleagues in school, bosses. You got to leverage, because if not, they'll take advantage of you. People will use you. When you got a romantic relationship, your romantic relationship goes as far as your last paycheck, because she is not going to take care of you for the rest of your life if you lose your job. So if you don't contract out she want her hair did, we're going to have to talk about this. You're either going to work this money off, or we're going to have to put you into a contract where you're going to have to give me back this money in spades. She going to stop asking you for shit. Because if you spending your money wisely and investing your money wisely, you are never going to have to ask anybody for anything. You are the best person in your network, which is the worst place to be. Because if you are the best person in your network, your resources trickle down. Nobody gives money to Donald Trump. Donald Trump gives money to everybody else. Your resources trickle down. Nobody gives Elon Musk money. They invest in him. Nobody gives him money. He gives money to everybody else. He doesn't have to ask for anything. He'll offer you an opportunity to make a profit if you front him some cash, but he don't have to ask you to slide him something on faith because he's the top of his network. So all of his resources trickles down to everybody else. Yeah, I'll do you a favor and loan you some money. Yeah, I'll do you a favor and I'll give you some money. So if you're at the top of your network, you're going to have to utilize your resources more wisely, because once you run out of resources, your network is going to lose contact with you. They're not going to replenish your resources. And that's why I'm telling you, contract out your generosity. Contract out your generosity to turn a profit off of that shit. Because if you contract your generosity and turn a profit off of that shit, you're keeping money in the bank to loan to certain people. Until they max out the quantity of money you're available to loan, whoever wants some can come get some as long as you're paying the shit back. And I can't give you nothing else till you pay me back the first time. You got to pay me back in full from the first time before I can loan you something else the second time. He said the one with the gold makes the rules. And you're right. You're right. The one with the gold that makes the rules if you keep the gold. Because if you give the fucking gold away, you ain't got shit. The person with the idea of bottled water isn't the person making money with bottled water. It's the person who took the idea and started mass producing the bottled water. So the person who made Bitcoin don't even have control of Bitcoin. The person who's using Bitcoin got control of Bitcoin. Satoshi Sakamoto or whatever his name is, $800 billion worth of Bitcoin. Ain't got no say in none of it. But somebody else that's got just as much as him got complete say, because they can use theirs. That's how life goes. The history is told by the people who survive it. They say history is told by the victor. It ain't told by the victor. It's told by the people who survived the situation. Because you could have won the war, but if you get killed, whoever's telling the story now can tell a story however they want. The person with the most resources in the negotiations has the most leverage. The person with the most leverage gets the most out of this deal. Unless what you have means more to them than what they're asking for from you, which then means you've got more leverage, you are groveling for what you need. So if you get into a situation where you're trying to strike a deal with somebody that's got more leverage than you, you have to accept 10-20% of what you was expecting. But if you already know that you're going to be dealing with a situation where you're going to get 10-20% of what you was expecting, you want to ask for 75% more than what you know you're entitled to get, so that when they give you 25% of what you was what you asked for, you end up with 40 or 50% of what you was going to get in the first place. You're not going to get 100% of what you wanted, but you might be able to give yourself a 50% increase on what you could have gotten. So if you could have gotten 25 and you get a 50% increase on 25, now you're at 40, right? Because 25 plus 15 is 40, right? Which is almost half of 25, right? 50% increase, you got like 40. It's not everything that you were looking for, but it's more than what you would have gotten had you not tried a little bit harder. So when we sit here and we talk about what we want out of life, and I've been looking at those dating platforms and I'm analyzing those. One day I'm thinking about doing a show about just the bios on these social media platforms with the dating apps and stuff. But when people talk about what they want in life, especially when they put it in their bio on a social media platform, you always talk about the stupidest shit. There's one or two really good ones that really talk about how they're looking for character, how they're looking for cooperation, partnership, how they're willing to dedicate themselves to their partners. And that's what we're supposed to be doing on both sides of the fence. Mostly everybody else is looking for travel. We're looking for generosity. We're looking for if he's not jealous, he don't want your ass. They non-controlling. If he's not telling you what is in your best interest, he's not good for you. We got dudes that are looking for commitment, but don't have commitment in their profile. Like, if it ain't in there that you're looking for something long term, if the words long term or permanent isn't in your bio, he looking for a hit it and quit it. He looking for a consistent. And y'all got to look at these cues, because a good man is going to be the kind of good man that's going to be generous by nature. So you're not looking for a generous man. You're looking for a man with good character that has long-term intentions, that has ambitions and goals that you will support. And you're just going to see what happens. You'll talk about whether or not you're active, whether or not you want somebody with good hygiene. That was a good one. I want somebody with good hygiene. So if you don't take showers on a regular basis, we're going to have to talk, something like that. That's the stuff that you're supposed to be putting in there. But, I need somebody who's generous and who likes to travel. That's a gold digger mentality. Because if he can afford to take you places, he's going to do that instinctively. And if you keep him happy, he's going to spoil you instinctively. So it shouldn't be an expectation. The things that we know are guaranteed from the type of person or entity or job position that we're looking for. If it's a guarantee that that's going to happen, if I get that type of qualification, it shouldn't be an expectation. If you're going to apply for a job on a high paying job, do you put into your application looking for high salary? No, it's a fucking high paying job. It goes without saying. High salary. You're looking for a company that, if you're looking for good benefits, the job offer says 401k, Roth IRA, dental, medical, sick leave, vacation pay. Are you putting into your application that you're looking for high benefits? Fuck no, it comes with the job. So since it comes with the job, it shouldn't be in your expectations. Notice, no man's profile says looking for a woman willing to have sex. Why? Because it's fucking given that it's gonna happen. So it doesn't have to be an expectation. It's gonna happen. So if you take the guarantees out of your expectations, because it's gonna happen regardless, and then think about what else do you want besides that, which is why I kept telling those girls on the show on Sunday. I said, ladies, besides sex, your career, and your education choice, what do you bring to the table that is valuable to a man? Because men don't care about your money. We would like sex, but it's not a necessity. And your knowledge needs to be to the magnitude of basically a high school dropout, because you have to be competent and capable and more likely usable with street smarts over book smarts. So really a bachelor's degree is not going to be as beneficial to me as if you are a former gang member that was involved in counterfeiting. Like, you would probably have a lot more skill set as a former gang member involved in counterfeiting than what you would have with the PhD in philosophy. You would probably have more skill set as a auto mechanic, or you probably have more skill set if you survived hiking in the woods or something like that. That's the kind of stuff like your usefulness. But telling me that you have a bachelor's degree in psychology, I don't want you to psychoanalyze me when I tell you that you shouldn't wear that outfit. Great point, Joseph. I don't want you to psychoanalyze me when I tell you that you shouldn't look like a slut when you put on that outfit. I want you to be able to put on that outfit that I bought because you asked me to buy. And ladies, because I know a lot of ladies are gonna get pissed off at me when I tell them this. If you want your man to buy your clothes, he should be able to tell you which ones you're gonna wear. When you take your children to the school to the store to buy his or her clothes, you tell them what clothes they're not going to school with, right? So you want your man to take you shopping and buy you clothes. He should be able to pick out the stuff he wants to see you in, which means he's going to love you in that, which means you should only wear stuff that he approves so that he shouldn't have to tell you how to wear. Now, vice versa, ladies, because Joseph said, look for respectful, feminine, obedient women. I'm going to tell you something again, ladies. You want your man to be respected by society. So this is where uniformity is about to come into play. Your real man not no boy. Your real man is not supposed to be looking like no fucking thug. He's not supposed to look like he got warrants out for his arrest. He's not supposed to look like the suspects, average height, minority, with a wife beater on, pants sagging, blue jeans with sneakers, right? Because you don't want him caught up in some shit, right? So you want a respectable man, right? So when you go shopping, you pick the clothes you want your man to be looking like. So if he ain't Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood suit and tie and shit, you could give him a snazzy like Kappa's style. You could give him a Sigma style. You could give him an Alpha style. You understand? You can dress your man respectful. And because that's what you would love him in, he will always wear the clothes that you picked out for him. He ain't going to put on shit else. So it goes both ways. So when your husband don't know what to wear, he's got an important event. If you're going to pick out an outfit that will make you and him respected by the room that you're about to walk into, he can't say no to that. But likewise, ladies, if you got a man, first of all, y'all wear yoga pants, hikes so far up that y'all can get a yeast infection. Y'all be sitting over there trying to show off camel toes and stuff. That's nasty. I know that men are sexually attracted to that type of look, but you're not supposed to. Modesty. That's one of the things he said. Look respectful. Joseph said, look respectful. Modesty. I know women like to show their cleavage just the American way, but you show your cleavage to your man. You show your collar to everybody else. You want modesty. You don't want nobody to know what your man got. Modesty. You should not wear skin tight clothes. Yeah, you can wear that going to the gym because you're exercising at the gym. But if you're not going to the gym, you're not supposed to have skin tight clothes on. You should have loose fitting clothes. You should be able to fit 2 fingers between your clothes and your body and it not be too tight. Remember that? That used to be the dress code when we was going to school. Y'all remember that? Remember that fingertip rule where you put your hands at your side and your shorts were supposed to come down past your fingertips? Can't nobody accidentally get a panty shot if your clothes ain't too short. You know, respect yourself. But guess what? If you're respecting yourself, the people that are looking at you are not lusting after you because you're over-sexualizing yourself, which means that the only people that are going to come up and talk to you are going to be people that respect you. And then if the only people that's talking to you respect you, they're not going to be trying to get you to go somewhere with them just so that they can hook up. They're going to be trying to get to know you to find out what other things that you got going on besides your self-respect and your dignity. And those are going to be the men that are going to protect your self-respect and your dignity, which is why they're going to tell you how to dress, because no man is going to tell you to dress like a slut. Every woman's complaint about a man telling her how to dress is because he's going to tell her to stop dressing as overly sexualized as she used to dress when she was single. That is the complaint. The complaint isn't that he's putting her into an outfit that makes her look like one of the hoes from the Pimp Named Slickback's Whole Train. That's not that. No woman ever says, he's making me dress like a prostitute and I don't feel comfortable doing that. No woman ever has that complaint. The women only complain because they only know how to dress slutty. And because they only know how to dress slutty and the man don't want his girl to dress slutty, she's complaining because he wants her to dress sophisticated, conservative, modest. Oh, it's too old fashioned. Right. Until you get caught in the back alleyway, humped over a dumpster. Had you not, you know, until you're in the bathroom stall of a nightclub and you can't find your underwear. Then all of a sudden it's a tragedy. Look now. Women don't remember. Women forgot to squat and pick stuff up instead of bending over and showing a crack of their behind to pick stuff up. It's just, there's so many things that happen in life that we talk about on this show. We talk about everything under the sun. And the craziest part about it is that we could do better. We just don't do better. And there's no excuse as to why we don't do better, because with all of the knowledge that we have, because I understand that men are not perfect. I'm not saying that women are the worst thing on the face of the earth. I'm just saying that men know that there are dirty old men out there, that there are dirty young men out there. Men know. And because men know that, men try to protect the women that they value by telling the women what to do to not put themselves in an unnecessarily compromising position, especially if she's not going to be with her man at the time. I've seen so many women over the past week on social media talking about GPS tracking their boyfriends and shit. Why are you so insecure? And I'm not going to say that you're insecure about tracking me. You're insecure because you tracking me, but I can't track you. You can't call me and tell me where you at, who you with, what you're doing, how long you're going to be gone, and when you're going to be back. That is obsessive, right? But you can track my phone, GPS location. You going through my Google search engine. You going through all my social media apps, reading all my text messages. If it's inappropriate for me to do it to you, why are you doing it to me? I have never not been uniform on this podcast. I'm not going to tell you, ladies, that, oh, it's only wrong when you do it. It's wrong if it's wrong. Doesn't matter who does it. All I ask you guys to do is to treat each other with respect. I ask you guys I ask the ladies that when you go and meet a man, that you treat him with the respect that you expect him to treat you. I ask you ladies to make sure that on a regular basis that you put it down the way you want him to put it down, that your expectations and your ability to set your non-negotiable expectations for behavior comes from his same ability to be able to set standards for his non-negotiable expectations for behavior. But if you find a man that is going to do the things the way you would normally do it, that's the person that's in charge. Now you don't have to make decisions about the hard stuff. Now you don't have to get beat up when you have to go against the grain. Now you don't have to be the person that's got to raise your voice and yell at people and cuss people out and threaten people's safety because they're not cooperating with you. That's what your man is here for. All you got to do is stitch up his wounds, take good care of him, wash the blood out of his clothes, get him dressed up, replace the clothes with holes in them, send him back out there so he can do that shit again. That's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Your man lives a life of being a punching bag for you, which also means that you're supposed to do the one thing that one woman came to the show said and be his emotional security. If he gonna get disrespected and beat down emotionally, mentally, and sometimes physically by society, when he come home, the only thing his woman is supposed to be doing is building him back up so that he's stable enough to get back out there and take that shit again. Because every day society treats a man like shit, at least here in the Western culture. And nowhere is there rejuvenation from that. But ladies, y'all know, does this outfit make my butt look big? Do I look cute? Am I ugly? Why don't people like, and you're fishing for compliments. And you do this all the time. How does this look? Does this look okay? You know, did I do a good job? Are you mad at me? Now, think about all of the times that you seek confirmation and validation from friends, family, spouses, social media. And then think about how many times that you actually give it in general to men. Now, the fact that you get more compliments in your life than you give means, ladies, y'all need to tighten up. I'm not asking you to suck the man off every day. I'm saying that the average dude, you don't even have to be in a relationship with. You should be able to look that dude in the face and let that dude know that you appreciate his existence wherever the fuck he's at the time that you cross his path. Thank you for being here. Because if the shit got serious and that good man standing next to you that's not your boyfriend will put his life on the line for you just because you're a woman. As a result, sweetheart, just because he's a man, you're supposed to be able to tell him, you're looking sharp today. I really appreciate you being here. You made me smile. Thank you so much for coming here. You ain't got to do nothing. Just thank you for being here. I don't want nothing from you. I just wanted to thank you for being here. Because if this Walmart got shot up, you would jump on top of me and keep me from catching them bullets. The same way that man lost his life at a presidential election when the shots got fired. Women don't jump on top of men to keep from getting their man shot. Now we got some G.I. Janes out there. They hard to find though. We got some Denises from San Andreas out there, but they hard to find though. We can't find them Queen Latifahs from Set It Off. They hard to find. So since your man is supposed to break his back and society is going to break his spirit, you are supposed to nurse him back to health and rebuild his emotional and mental stability. Women say, I'm not his mama. I'm not supposed to nurture him. Yes, you are. That's called watering your garden so that your crops keep growing. If you don't nurture your crop, once you pluck that crop is done. You pick all the apples off the tree, ain't no more apples growing on that tree if you don't fertilize that tree. You got to understand, if you don't feed the cattle, you ain't got no milk. If you don't leave some eggs there to grow into new chickens, when the chickens die, you ain't got no more eggs. In order for you to keep receiving, you have to give back to what you're receiving from. And that's what society and Western culture has forgotten. You must give back to what you are receiving from. And it doesn't matter what it is, from your society, from your friends and family, from your relationships, from the individuals that are closest to you in life. When you receive from them, you have to give back. That's what they put into the Bible. They didn't put into the Bible, oh, yeah, if you give, you're going to get back tenfold, blah, 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 blah. They read that shit wrong. The truth of the matter is that because you gave, the person you gave to feels indebted to you to the magnitude that he or she will give back to you tenfold. Your tenfold comes back to you because people feel like that's how much you deserve. Because when they talk about gratitude in the Bible, gratitude is supposed to be you giving within your means the level of appreciation that you have based on how much you value the other person's efforts and actions. That's how gratitude is identified in the Bible, which means that if you believe that this person's actions and efforts impacted your life in a positive way tenfold, then you are supposed to do your best efforts to give that person back tenfold. The goal is to give back. The goal is not to take. The goal is not to just voluntarily accept without reciprocation. The goal is to give back. So I tell you, ladies, on a regular basis, make sure that y'all give back. Make sure that y'all put extra effort into giving people the opportunity to rejuvenate their efforts, their willpower, their motivation, their ability to care for you, protect you. You got to give back to the society that you are in so that that society has something to give to you. The people who don't want to pay taxes is until the government makes its own money. If the government stops receiving money from the taxpayers, then the government doesn't have any money to give to you for your disability, for your Social Security, for your food stamps, for the school system, for your student loans, for your government-backed business loan. The government won't have any money for none of that if you don't keep paying taxes. If you don't give to the government ain't got nothing to give back to you. If you don't give back to your local society, the government ain't the local society ain't got nothing to give back to you. You know, I talk about how the police be doing dirty shit, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you were a shareholder of the police department, put your money where your backup need to be. If you was a massive shareholder of your local police department, everybody in the police department would know who you are in a positive way. I mean, they pull your ass over. Oh shit, you invested in the commissioner. My bad, sir. Have a good day. This ain't bribery. You invest in the police department. You give them a massive chunk of change. And guess what? Just like the school, the police department is a nonprofit entity because they take as much money as they can and they invest it into itself and they do not turn a profit. Which means that if you was to go down to the treasury department of the local police department and donate a large quantity of money to the local police department and get a voucher that states that you had gave X number of dollars to that local police department, you could take that money back and go put it on your taxes, get it a tax write-off. But the fact is that the local police department know you done gave them a few $1,000s, a few $100,000 on faith on a regular basis. Which means that when they run your name across the system, investor should come across the fucking screen. Investor in local law enforcement. Donor should come across the screen. They should give you special decals to put on your car so that other police officers know, don't fuck with him. He give us a bunch of money. You feel me? Then that's not going to stop you from committing murder, but it'll stop them from talking shit to you on a traffic stop. It ain't gonna stop you from going to jail for committing a robbery or some shit, but it'll stop them from towing your fucking car unnecessarily on some shit where they could have just let you go with a ticket. Where I want to tell y'all real quick. Parking and transportation is part of your LLC and your C corporation's tax deduction. So, if you claim, if you take notes of all of that shit and claim it on your taxes, you can write that shit off. So you really ain't got to complain about the fact that they taxed your ass. If it's a driving tax, it's going to be a tax deduction. So it's like, go ahead and give it to me. I don't give a fuck. I'll take it and run with it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you, Joseph. Thank you for coming. I'm going to see you tomorrow night when you come through here. You have a good night as well. I was actually about to sign out because I got to touch base with some of the people that talked to me 3 hours ago. But I wanted to thank you guys for coming to tonight's show because we got a lot of stuff that we got coming up, and I'm going to try to make sure that I keep y'all savvy with it. I know I gotta end one earlier tomorrow night because tomorrow night towards this time of night I got a client scheduled to talk to me, but we're going to try to do a 2 hour, at least a 1 to 2 hour tomorrow night. Make sure that you guys hit that like button on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit that follow button. If you're on Twitch and Twitter, swing over to YouTube, hit that like button on YouTube so that we can get something other than Cooking with Kaya and the latest TikTok and Twitter dance, so that we can start talking about business and finance, making money, social interactions, how to treat each other, how to be treated each other, first person accountability, non-negotiable expectations for behavior. We're trying to improve our better decision-making processes. We trying a special shout out from Nepal. Nepal was the country that I'm doing a show about Nepal. All right. Note to self, do a show about Nepal. This is the second time Nepal came back. I was trying to remember which country was up in here just the other day, and it was Nepal. So we're doing a show about Nepal coming soon. I got to figure out which day out of the week it's going to be, but we're going to be doing a show about Nepal when we start talking about business and finance. So I really appreciate you coming back, NX Vlog 10. I appreciate you coming back because you were here the other day. You were here Sunday, matter of fact. So I really appreciate you coming as we wrap things up today, because we've talked about all kinds of stuff today. And we're going to be continuing to do so 7 nights a week. We typically start about 2 hours ago, sometimes 3 hours ago. I might start 10 things off closer to 10:30, 11 o'clock. I just got to see what the schedule is looking like to make sure that I can give you guys a full few hours. But I know that most of y'all are showing up around 11. So I usually try to start around 10:30, 7 nights a week. It never fails. But I know that by 11 o'clock, I will have aired. If I didn't start at 10, by 11 o'clock, I will have aired. So if you jump in at around 11 o'clock, I would have been on for 30, 45 minutes at the very least. And we try to carry it as long as we can if I've got no obligations following the show. And sometimes we give you 3, sometimes we give you 5, sometimes we give you 1.5 to 2. So make sure that you check us out. And on my way out of the door, I want to tell you guys, keep an eye out, because we got the Higher Ground song that was created by alanito.music, which is a Switzerland band. So everything I do, I outsource. I didn't even get the music from America. They made exclusively tracks for the podcast. We've got links to that in the description. All of the songs that they made for us, we have links to Amazon where you can go get it with your Amazon Prime. But we play it on the show before and after the show every night of the week. Higher Ground, we have a non-negotiable and executive protocols. We have at least 3 different songs, but 5 different versions on an album that's playing on YouTube. You can listen to it for free, but you can listen to Higher Ground before and after the show. So make sure that you take a listen to that, because I rock out to it every day. Twice a day, technically, because I listen to it when the show starts and I listen to it when the show ends. So on my way out of the show, make sure that you guys take a listen to that. But ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm gonna have to ask you ladies to please make it make sense. So ladies, make it make sense. Special shout out to Red Void, Omni 81, MPX Vlog, Joseph Hernandez, Carl Barton. Special shout out to Liberty Twitcher, Mr. Pibbs, Max the Poser, Reese Martinez, Lightning Blue. We've got a whole list of y'all. I really appreciate y'all coming from Twitch and Twitter. So thank you guys for coming to the podcast, and special shout out to all the fellas that's been showing us support live on the podcast every day of the week. We really appreciate you guys. We still holding it down at about 69%, so the women are catching up. So just note that when they take over, there's going to be a large quantity of angry females when we start talking about these social interaction topics. So I want you fellas to be here so that when they start not making sense, y'all can jump in here and make it make sense with me, because that's all I do on this podcast. Is I come from a uniform perspective, and all I try to do is make it make sense. Everybody's opinion is greatly appreciated, even if I don't agree with them. And you can always, at the very least, like MPX did, do special shout outs to friends and family, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries. As long as it's appropriate, let me know. I got you guys. So thank you very much for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.